there after a couple days off in Chicago. It's nice to be back here, though, speaking with you. Frankly, I'm glad to be speaking to anybody the way the internet has been coming for people over the last couple of days. I believe that you should be able to say almost anything online without having people come for your job. The current culture, you can call it accountability. I call it woke, out of control, cancel culture, and it's coming from people who have decided their job in life is to police everyone's reaction to the murder of Charlie Kirk. It is enough to make me think I should get off social media, because the chance of saying something that outrages one of these self-appointed speech policers out there is high. I had people coming for me last week on Thursday for a statement that was made by Corzo, who was filling in for me. It's like, well, if he's going to fill on your show, you should take. What is happening? The thirst for revenge and vengeance in our society right now online, I hope it hasn't crossed over into the real world, but I don't know. Do you think you should lose your job if you post something stupid? Let's just call it stupid. 651-461-9226. One person's real talk is another person's offensive statement. But all around the country, here in Minnesota, I've seen people who are like tallying various online comments that people make. Here's another one. I think our tolerance for people saying things we don't like should be much greater. What are we so afraid of? Why are we so afraid to let someone say something that you disagree with and then discuss the merits? The number of people, like, it started with an MSNBC political pundit. Now it's spread to college campuses where the speech police are going after things that various university employees have said. There's a sports reporter, a Secret Service agent. Now, legally, you can fire somebody for any reason, but or for no reason in most cases, unless you're in a union. But is this the society we want, where after whatever horrible news event happens, now it's time for the purity test? Now it's time to make sure you say the right thing, because that's what America is about. If you don't toe the line after whatever thing goes on, my advice to all of you, delete all of your social media accounts. Get off social media. Don't share a thought in a way that can be traced ever again, because the lunatics are coming for you. And it's this crazy doxing. It's like, well, do your thing, find them. And they post their LinkedIn, and this guy works at this college, and this person's an aide for some government agency. I cannot believe that the reaction to a podcaster, a thought leader, an entrepreneur, his assassination is to go after people who are saying, like, well, he said a lot of racist stuff. Now, I have thoughts on the way we feel like we have to process these stories and these people as well. And we'll get into that after you get your chance on this sort of cancel culture that is really taking hold in the right wing of America right now. Let's go to Laura in St. Louis Park. Laura, you're up first. Thanks for calling CCO. Where are you at on this? Because I feel like You should be able to say just about anything without having people coming for your job.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you're quoting Charlie Kirk's own words and you get fired from your job for quoting his own words, how does that work? When our president stands and spews hatred and calls names to everybody and anybody that he can possibly think of. How is it that you get fired because you're stating Charlie Kirk's own words?
Yeah, so let me give you one quote that got a guy fired. He says, refusing to mourn a life devoted to that cause is not the same thing as celebrating gun violence. And he says, truly don't care if you think it's insensitive or poor timing to decline to respect an evil man who died. Would you fire that guy?
I think some people have gone a little bit too far in what they've said.
Yeah.
But if you're,
I agree. Like
I mean, because I don't condone gun violence at all. I wish guns didn't exist. I don't condone it in any way, shape, or form. But when you also take on a political platform in the public and making money off of it, talking and spewing nothing but hate and discord, then, you know, there are ramifications, there are consequences for everything we do. And I don't mean that he should die because of that, because we're all entitled to our opinion.
Yeah.
But with your opinion, when you're doing it on a platform and charging money and indoctrinating young men, wow.
Yeah. I think, and thank you for the call, Laura. I appreciate that. I would say, like, most of the people who are getting fired is not just for quoting his statements, it's for saying he's evil. And I do think, like, there is this weird phenomena today where people feel like when someone is killed, then it's time for all of us to, like, do our analysis as to whether they were a good person or a bad person. And I just reject that also. I think if you don't like Charlie Kirk, it is not your job to lionize him. You don't have to be made to worship his history, but you could just kind of keep it to yourself. I don't know that why people feel a need to say, like, well, you know, no one deserves to be shot while they're speaking. And also, you know, he said this misogynistic thing and this racist thing. And I'm like, just shut up. Like, just shut up. You don't have to say that at all. And if you say it, I will defend your right to say that. And you should not lose your job because of it. You just shouldn't. Why is it that you want people to get fired? What is that? I've spoken out against this when it's come from every direction. Every direction. We live in such a goofy environment where we surround ourselves with information that kind of validates our views. So I will guarantee that 20% of our audience feels like this texter. Charlie Kirk didn't spew hate. He went on campus and debated young individual. As far as indoctrinating young men, it could be said the same thing about professors indoctrinating young people their beliefs. And then another 20% of our audience thinks that all Charlie Kirk did was spew hate. And then there are a lot of people who are like, who is this guy? Like, now they know, but it definitely was a younger age group that knew Charlie Kirk. My point is that you should be able to react to anything however you want. Anything however you want. Because this idea that we're going to come for your job, if you post something on social media that we don't like, we're coming for you. And I've seen there's a local Republican strategist who has been posting today about a couple, 3 professors at Clemson. And I don't even know what these professors said. I don't care. Say whatever you want. But this guy's like, One person Clemson fired. There were two other. He's like, 1 down, 2 to go. What are we doing? The lesson you take away after the brutal assassination, an attempt to shut someone up for sharing their ideas, which you can agree with or not. But the reaction you've taken is to spend your weekend hunting down people who say stuff that you don't like so you can fire them? Get a grip. Get a grip. 651-461-9226. Drive Time back with more of your reaction in just a minute.
This is Drive Time with DeRusha on News Talk 830 WCCO.
All right, Jason here with a really exciting event going on this week. And I am so thrilled to talk to you about Kickernick Gallery right in the heart of downtown Minneapolis. So I, as you know, have an apartment that Alyssa and I have been using as like a cabin in the city right here in downtown. And to furnish it, we were so excited to go right to this relatively new downtown art gallery. Kickernick Gallery is on First Avenue, right by Target Center, right by Target Field. And this Thursday night, I am helping to MC open studio night, grand opening. So I'd love to meet you there. It's free. It's fun. You get to meet a dozen featured artists. And these are local artists who are making our community richer with their talents. Coming down there to celebrate it. To me, it's part of enjoying our community, enjoying our city, and supporting our neighbors. And I love it. Alyssa and I have bought 3 different pieces at Kickernick Gallery. And I can't wait to get another one from this new collection. All new artists. They rotate them through. And so celebrating 1 year with an art open and open studios as well. Here are the details. It's Thursday, September 18th. So this Thursday, 5 to 8 p.m. I'll be there after the show, so right at 6. But it's going to be fantastic. So I'd love to have you down there. You can get tickets and information right at their website. Go to Kickernick, K-I-C-K, KickernickGallery.com.
This is a big year. You're turning 65. At HIAFS.com, we make Medicare simple. Whether you're new to Medicare or exploring your options, our licensed experts are here to guide you every step of the way. Compare plans, find the right coverage for your prescription drugs, and enjoy peace of mind knowing you've got the best benefits at no extra cost to you. Visit HIAFS.com today or call 1-952-234-5990 to speak with our personal Medicare advisor. HIAFS.com, because turning 65 deserves a celebration, not confusion.
Mike Rowe here with another fun fact. If your concrete is cracked or uneven, you can actually lift it back up. Whether it's a sinking driveway, a patio, or a sidewalk, do yourself a favor, call Groundworks. I spent some time working with these guys. They're the real deal. Their people are trained and certified to lift your concrete slabs. Innovative Basement Authority is now Groundworks. Schedule a free inspection.
Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for details.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. We're dedicated to serving people 50 and up like me. Our needs are different. Big Wireless wants us in an unlimited plan, but if you're not using all that data, you're probably getting used. At Consumer Cellular, we're focused on affordable, reliable plans, including data that suits your needs, not ours. Our plans start at just $20, and you'll get the best customer service in the business.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com/facts. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
I'm a pretty great multitasker. I can wash dishes and do laundry. I can roller skate while walking my dog. I can even order lunch while doing my homework. But I can't use my phone while driving. A distracted driver is one of the leading causes of death in the United States. So when it comes to driving, please, don't be a multitasker.
Don't drive distracted. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
You hear that? That's the sound of your business losing money. Legacy phone systems weren't built for today's teams. OpenPhone gives your business a smarter way to stay connected. OpenPhone lets you manage calls, texts, voicemail, and contacts all in one place so that you and your team can deliver a seamless customer experience from ring to... Need to take calls on the go? OpenPhone automatically transcribes, summarizes, and highlights next steps from every call, so you never miss a detail. Need insight into what closes a sale? With OpenPhone's AI call tags, you can instantly spot key topics like objections or pricing questions and use those insights to coach your team and level up every customer interaction. And yes, you can bring your existing number with you for free. Keep your team in sync and your customers happy with OpenPhone. OpenPhone. No missed calls, no missed customers. Try OpenPhone for free at openphone.com/try and get 20% off your first 6 months. That's openphone.com/try. openphone.com/TRY.
What do you call a creator who's also an influencer?
Jason DeRusha.
You've got like 75 million followers.
Yes. Drive Time with DeRusha on News Talk 830 WCCO.
Texter says, whose job is it, Jason, to call Charlie Kirk out on the racist, hateful things he espoused? He's being lionized, yet his platform on race, women, LGBTQ is horrific. So I would say this, it is no one's job to call out the odious beliefs of someone who is assassinated on stage giving a speech at a college. How about you just say, man, where are we as a country that someone gets gunned down for their expressing their thoughts? I will also say, like, we don't know why Charlie Kirk was assassinated. We always want to sort of fit these things into our political binary thought process, but perhaps we should spend a little more time around 18 to 25-year-old young boys who are in a different space, right? Where it's not, maybe not the right wing or the left wing. The way you're thinking about it maybe isn't. But either way, I reject the idea that we need to do a full accounting on someone's existence every time they die. Just shut up. You don't have to say anything. You don't have to post about Charlie Kirk. You don't have to say anything about anyone. You could say nothing about everything. Some of you, I would recommend. Frankly, in woke wars round two that we're in right now, led by conservative America, we are, if you say the wrong thing, if you step out of line, they're coming for you. Now, one texter points out that there's a doctor in New Jersey which again, like, who cares? But Larry in Crystal is going to tweet up a storm all day about some random doctor who supposedly celebrated Kirk's death. I'm sorry. I thought this was America. I thought you can be an idiot if you're good at your job. You can have idiotic thoughts. You can have thoughts that disagree with me. You can have thoughts that are odious and disgusting. Now, if you are a doctor expressing that at work, well, now you're at work. You do, if a patient overhears something or whatever, now you got a different issue. To me, the lesson is get off social media. Don't post a single one of your thoughts ever, right? Here's a master sergeant in the Air Force that the cancel squad is coming from. Now, bear in mind the fact that today it's the right wing driving the cancel express. But do you remember who was the woke cancel warriors just like 2 years ago? I think it was the left. So is this just like a thirst for power, a lust for punishment that a lot of us have? I don't know. Seems like it to me. Here is a master sergeant in the Air Force. His killing was crazy to see. Wish that wasn't so easily accessible on my timeline. And I definitely don't condone that violence. Shifting gears, y'all really trying to paint this picture that he was this noble man trying to bridge America together. This man was clearly racist, homophobic, and sexist. I said what I said. I'm not going back and forth with nobody. Argue with your mama, not me. I do like that. Could I on social media, can I start saying that? Argue with your mama. That is not a fireable offense. Sorry. Texter or the tweet calling this person out. We have a lack of discipline in our current military ranks. It's like, come on. Who's the snowflake now? It seems like the right wing. Jeff is in Sauk Rapids. Jeff, you're on CCO.
Hi, Jason. Yeah, you nailed it right on the head with a couple of words early on. You asked if we were so in such need for revenge and intolerance, if that's where this country is going.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed, it has. Now, we'll talk about the shooters in the Kirk case and the Annunciation Church case. Everybody knows those people had to have a screw loose to do such a thing.
Right.
Just like many other heinous acts have been committed. But here's the point. There's lots of people out there with a screw loose, and they're listening to the same crap that we're listening to. They process it differently and sometimes act on it. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Right there.
Yeah.
I'm an old guy, never been on social media, never felt the need, and I wouldn't mind echoing your words from a few moments ago. Shut it down. I don't see where it's doing us any good. I can find entertainment in many, many other ways than, social media and listening to people bark at each other over crap.
Yeah. Thanks, Jeff. I've been thinking about that. I've been thinking about that myself, right? Like, for me, and this is a different topic for a different day, but for me, the good of social media for me has outweighed the bad, and that balance it's more questionable these days. Texter says, I think that any adult in a position of authority like teachers or professors that sway young minds in their educational teaching and say to them that they're glad that somebody got shot, do you really want someone teaching your children that says it's okay to eliminate another human? So I guess I would say to that is like, did you guys ever know a teacher like back in the day before it was all like social media was going to come for you, before we all had a way to publicly share our wisdom / idioticness? Dan, you know a few teachers. Do we think that every teacher in the history of the world used to just be an amazing moral human being? No, if you can teach math, you can teach math. Like, stop it. We only want this purity test when it lines up with our beliefs.
Right.
That's all it is. And it feels good to cancel someone. It always has, it always will. The fact that people spent their weekend trying to hunt down various people who didn't react to Charlie Kirk in the right way. The fact that today people are saying, if your pastor didn't talk about Charlie Kirk at church this weekend, find another church. Get a grip. Like, it's some next level speech police from the group that tried to convince us that the reason Democrats lost the presidential election was because they're too woke and too much speech police. But yet here we are. Ridiculous. We're going to break. See, you thought, you're like, is Jason going to ease into it after vacation? My boss wanted me to talk about whether listening to an audiobook was the same as reading an audiobook. We may come back to that in 15 minutes. But next we're going to talk about women and the impact on return to office. Star Tribune had a story that talked about some research that says the sort of slowdown or end of remote work really is rough on keeping women in the workforce. But there were some things in the story about that made me say, like, I don't know, this doesn't all commute to me. So we'll talk with a researcher on this in just a minute here on CCO.
This is Drive Time with DeRusha on News Talk 830 WCCO.
Why is this backed up again?
Because the road's been under construction since the Vikings' last Super Bowl.
Yeah, pretty sure Lewis and Clark detoured around this same construction.
Honestly, I've just accepted this is where I live now.
In the car?
In the left lane, between two orange barrels.
Traffic, weather, breaking news, politics, sports. We give you everything you need to complain like a true Minnesotan. Consider it your daily excuse to know more so you can groan more. News Talk 830 WCCO.
How can you free your team from time-consuming office tasks? Amazon Business. Smart business buying tools enable buyers to find and purchase items fast so they can focus on strategy and growth. Free up your teams and focus on your future. Learn more at AmazonBusiness.com.
Just added to Farm Aid 40, Kenny Chesney, plus Winona Judd and Steve Earle. Saturday, September 20th, Huntington Bank Stadium in Minneapolis. Also featuring Willie Nelson and family, Neil Young and the Chrome Hearts, Sean Mellencamp, Dave Matthews and Tim Reynolds, Margot Price, Billy Strings, Nathaniel Rateliff and the Night Sweats, Trampled by Turtles, and more. Farm Aid 40, a full day of music, homegrown food, and activities. On sale now at farmaid40.org and 1-800-YOU-GOPHER.
If you're planning on selling your home soon, you need to be in the know on the changes to the real estate market and our economy so that you can sell it for the most money possible. Hi, it's Benita. With interest rate fluctuation, talks of a recession, you want to be fully informed. If you're thinking of selling your home, my good friend, the good neighbor agent, John Schuster of the John Schuster Group, Coldwell Banker Realty, along with Paul Douglas, will be hosting another free 45-minute online seminar. Learn the 5 mistakes most homeowners make when trying to sell, how to properly market a home in a balancing market, and 5 things you can do right now to make the most money. 4 webinar times, Tuesday, October 7th, 11 a.m. and 6 p.m., Thursday, the 9th, 11 a.m. and 6 p.m. Space is limited. Sign up today by going to thejohnschustergroup.com. Click the banner at the top of the page marked Home Seller Forum.
Buy a home, sell a home, we'll get you moving. JohnSchusterGroup.com.
Terms and conditions may apply.
I've been turning wrenches for nearly 20 years. And for the longest time, it was chaos. Communication was spotty, PMs got missed, downtime skyrocketed, and accountability practically impossible. Then we switched to Maintain X. Total game changer. Now the whole operation runs through the Maintain X app. Work orders, safety procedures, parts inventory. I manage it all in one place with real-time updates. No more delays, no more surprises.
Maintain X helps maintenance teams run smarter, faster, and more efficiently. Thousands of frontline teams trust Maintain X to maximize uptime, cut costs, and stay audit ready. Start your free trial at maintainx.com. That's maintain and the letter X.com.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/radio to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/radio for your free gutter inspection today. See representative for warranty details. Promotion is 20% off plus a 10% senior or military discount. 1 discount per household.
At Advent, we help sleep apnea sufferers avoid the CPAP machine by getting your nose and throat working with our unique Advent approach that you won't find elsewhere.
Time to find out how it's moving on the roads and what's moving in via the skies. This is traffic and weather together on CCO, starting with a check of the commute.
Brought to you by American Rare Coin and Collectibles. You can find them at AmericanRareCoinAndCollectibles.com. 94 westbound, the area of 610. Crash has been taken care of, but it's still pretty much on the heavy side as you come up from Hemlock Lane. If you're going to be traveling crosstown eastbound, got your slowdowns there. Gleason heading over to Cedar. Westbound crosstown, that's slow as you move past 28, heading over 235W. South 35W near 26th Street. Crash off to the right shoulder. Should clear shortly. In the meantime, things are slow as you make way through downtown Minneapolis. When a loved one passes or it's time to settle in a state, valuables left behind can feel overwhelming. At American Rare Coin and Collectibles in Bloomington, they help navigate these moments with clarity and care. Peace of mind starts with your appointment. AmericanRareCoinAndCollectibles.com. Jerry Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCO.
Mnex Spike COVID-19 vaccine mRNA by Moderna has arrived. To learn more and find it near you, Visit mnexspike.com. That's MNEXSPIKE.com.
Now, the latest conditions and the outlook for the next few days with your CCO forecast.
All right, forecast is brought to you by Moderna. Here is Chris Schaefer.
Clouds will clear out overnight tonight. We'll slip back to 68. It's going to be another muggy night. It stays humid tomorrow. We'll have plenty of sunshine, and this will be the warm one with a high up around 89. Partly cloudy to start on Wednesday with scattered showers moving in. A little cooler, 85 the high. And those scattered showers will be possible Thursday, Friday, possibly into Saturday. Not a washout, plenty of dry time, but a chance of rain as well.
It is warm out there right now. 83 degrees in Osseo on CCO.
You're listening to Drive Time with DeRusha. Video streaming live on YouTube and always on your radio at News Talk 830 WCCO.
He's mine.
Well, last week was a bit of a return to office for many. We're seeing more and more companies having some workers come back to the office a number of days. And I have many friends who are white-collar workers who have been working remotely and also mothers. And the group that, for me, I'm most empathetic, because you guys know I am very supportive of return to the office with flexibility. We have technology. We've learned the ability to work remotely. I think if managers are running their businesses today the same way they were in 2019, then that's a failure. Then return to office will be a failure. The employees will be mad. They will quit. And they'll be right. I'll be on the employee side. If managers have learned, like, hey, we can be more flexible and, like, get to the office, like 3 days a week, 4 days a week, whatever it is. 3M, Medtronic, US Bank, General Mills, United Health, Target last week had national meetings here. They're calling a number of workers back to the office. But the reason that I insist on there being that flexibility is because we've made some progress in keeping women, especially in that 30 to 45-year-old age, in the workforce. I think that's really important. And there are concerns that we're going to go backwards with this move to return to office. Misty Hegenes is an associate economics and public affairs professor at the University of Kansas. This is an area that she has researched, and in fact, she is in the process of polishing up a book that will be released next year called Swiftynomics, How Women Mastermind and Redefine Our Economy. And Misty is with us on the John Schuster Coldwell Banker Hotline. Professor, thanks for being here.
Hey, thanks for having me.
So what does the data tell us about women being in the workforce and what return to office? I guess we don't really know what will happen in this next phase, do we?
No, we don't. I mean, we saw increases in women's labor force participation during the pandemic, primarily really driven by caregivers of small children. So it was primarily women with children under the age of 5 who drove a lot of the increase in women's labor force participation kind of, coming off of the pandemic. And now we're seeing that go in reverse. And so, I think we need to really think clearly, or at least thoughtfully, about the types of policies we're putting in place within our organizations that either help or hinder our workforce stay attached to the labor market, stay active and productive.
What are there best practices, or what are things, if you are a mother or a child care provider, really, what should you be asking for? What should you be looking at?
Yeah, so there's been a lot of economic research on trying to figure out what mechanisms are more likely to keep women, especially caregivers, in the labor force. And so we know that the flexible work options are attractive for women in particular, and women with small children. We know also that women are willing to give up a portion of their earnings or salary for that flexibility. So you see women often disproportionately go into government jobs, go into other types of jobs, not for profit and other types of jobs where they can have more flexibility around their hours and their work schedule, and they're paid less, but it helps them balance their life better. And so there's, those types of policies really matter when you are somebody who has to not only, or is choosing to not only go out and work for pay in a job, but you also have a job at home with your family where you happen to be one of the primary caregivers. With only 24 hours in a day, you've got to figure out how to make it all work.
So part of what I wonder as we speak with Professor Misty Hegedus is that, this has always been a concern, right? Since women were really working at any sort of significant level in the professional workforce, the issues of how many hours are in the day, the issue of the women handling a disproportionate share of the child care and the house management responsibility. Are things different now because of the cost of child care? Because to a certain degree, I look at this and think like, all right, I worked with a ton of women who had very inflexible jobs. I used to work in television news. So you couldn't go home and you couldn't drive your kid to soccer. You had to rely on a village. You had to rely on an in-law or something like that. What has made things different? Or is it just that women did get a taste of like, hey, this is what could be possible if we have more of a remote work environment?
Yeah, so there's a couple of factors to take into account here. I had a colleague a handful of years back who was telling me that when her kids were younger, she trained as a medical doctor, and she would leave the hospital in her white doctor suit, doctor coat, get into the car, go to her child's soccer game or whatever it was, drive back to the hospital, put the white coat on before she went back to the hospital because she didn't want people to know that she had left for a family-related thing. So it's always been an issue. I think what's different today is that there are more and more women with really small children, like 5 years and under, who are choosing to stay in the labor market. So they're not taking gap years when care demands are the most heaviest for them. And it's really those women who are moving the needle on women's labor force participation today, both up and down. So that, big bump that we saw in 2023, 2024, that was really driven by these women. And now this, decline, 3 percentage point decline between January and June of 2025, was what we saw happen with women's labor force participation in 2025.
Yeah,
it was these women with small children.
And your point, I think, is really interesting that a lot of women work for, government in government type jobs. And those have been really some of the last groups in our area anyway to significantly call people back to the office. A lot of corporate America has been doing it to a lesser degree, maybe tacking on another day. But a lot of the cities and counties here have really embraced and allowed people to work remotely.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's, we have discovered that there are alternatives to the traditional 9 to 5, in the office style of work. And we know that we can attract people with high skill and with lots of talent if we just allow for that flexibility. So what we're seeing now is really, the federal government is leading this in their really huge push for return to office in, January and February of this year. That's actually when we see the dip for women with small children start to decline. It just keeps on going. The reduction in force of the federal government also is influencing. A lot of these women are stepping back either by choice because they're anticipating that they're going to have to go in 5 days a week and they can't figure out how they would do that. Or they're just losing their jobs.
Yeah, I mean, in Minnesota, the average cost of sending an infant to daycare is almost $23,000 a year. So, that is significant. Again, this is a calculus that women have been making forever. Families have been making forever. But because we had a couple of years of a different way, you can understand why maybe the urgency is higher. And we'll see, like, is the reaction going to be higher? Where, when I was raising young kids with my wife and we were talking about whether or not she was going to stay home because she wanted to do that, our calculus was different because there was no third way. There was no, you can stay in the office. Yeah. Or you can raise the kids, or you could work hybrid. Now there is a third way. And so I think it's going to be really interesting. It's not good for our country to have another significant dip of women in the workforce. It just isn't.
That's not. And I mean, what you're saying about childcare really is true. The childcare market has been broken for a long time. It doesn't function well as a private sector market. It is a public good and should be somehow. We need to start thinking about it in that way. And one of the reasons why we were seeing this decrease of women working as well is because a lot of the pandemic funds to support, childcare businesses have also gone away. And so it's just been a real crunch, and it's getting more and more expensive to put your children in childcare. And all of this is just kind of collapsing on top of itself right now.
It's important to watch, and we appreciate your insight. Misty Hagenes, Associate Professor at the Institute for Policy and Social Research at the University of Kansas, and look forward to your book coming out in 2026 as well. Thanks, Misty.
Thank you. Take care.
It is 3:49 in just a minute. The Emmys. Is TV boring, or were just the Emmys boring? We'll talk about that.
You're listening to Drive Time with DeRusha. Video streaming live on YouTube and always on your radio at News Talk 830 WCCO.
If you go to my Instagram page, DeRusha J on Instagram, you'll see a video that I just posted today for guys who want to up their style game. It's Jason here from my friends at JH and Sons. On Instagram right now, I am showing 5 pieces that every guy should have in their wardrobe. Fall is back. We're talking about return to office. You need to up your style game. JH and Sons can help you get there. In the video, you sort of get an experience of what it would be like to come into the store, speak to one of their men's clothing experts. I'm visiting with Kevin in the video. And Kevin, if you're watching on YouTube right now, looks amazing. I look okay. I'm wearing a jacket and some pants that I got at JH and Sons. And it's not just a full suit, although if you do need a new suit, best men's tailoring in the upper Midwest at JH and Sons. But it can be as simple as a dress shirt that has a cool button detail. It can be the right length of an overcoat, just little things to up your game. Make you feel, for me, when I have new clothes, when I look good, I have more confidence too. And that helps me in the work. Although I know some of you are thinking, like, do we need that? Do we more confident? Jason, we may not need. JHandsons.com. I want you to go to the website, sign up for the email list, because there's a special event coming up in October that I want you to be the first to know about. JH and Sons. It's at the Galleria in Edina. Go to JH and Sons today.
The possibility of lung cancer can be pretty scary, especially if you're one of approximately 8 million current or former smokers at high risk. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know that now there's a breakthrough low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early, and it only takes 60 seconds. You stop smoking. Now start screening. For an easy quiz to see if you're eligible, visit SaveByTheScan.org. It could save your life. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
God, I'm so stressed. It's a brand new year and our business is busier than ever.
Ooma.
What is that? Meditation?
I'm recommending the Ooma cloud phone system with auto attendant and more than 35 features.
Ooma?
Yep. Switching to Ooma is a cinch. Starts at $19.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees.
Ooma.
Now you're feeling it. Visit Ooma.com. That's OOMA.com to learn more. Ooma. Smart communications for the smarter business.
New month, new flavors. Jordana here for my friends at Mini Leaf. I'm talking about those sleep night gummies. I know you love them. And they even have a new and improved Sleep Night gummy. But here's a twist. They got some new flavors. So better sleep and some yummy new flavors. Great grape, green apple snooze, and mellow mango in the nighttime blend. And of course, everybody loves the peaceful pineapple. That still exists in those Sleep Night gummies. Better sleep is the way to a better you. Mini Leaf can make that happen. I give these out to friends all the time. I recommend them for anybody who's having sleep troubles. You guys know they help me get off my Ambien, really. These gummies help me get off a pharmaceutical. I hope they will do wonders for you. Here's how you get them. Minileaf.com. MINILEAF.com.
Mini Leaf means quality. Taste happy at minileaf.com.
The home of Minnesota's best legal products.
Time to find out how it's moving on the roads and what's moving in via the skies. This is traffic and weather together on CCO, starting with a check of the commute.
Brought to you by Chef IQ Sense, West 94 near 280. Got an accident working there into the left lane. Traffic is jammed up at 280, heading into and through downtown Minneapolis. 94 westbound beyond Weaver Lake Road. Crash off to the right shoulder, jamming up at Hemlock Lane. It's also affecting North 494 as you come up from Bass Lake Road. Chef IQ Sense is a wireless cooking thermometer that perfectly cooks your food. The Chef IQ probe is inserted into your food and connects to the Chef IQ app to ensure you never under or overcook your food. It's that simple. Order now on chefiq.com with code word WCCO for 15% off. Trey Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCO.
Jason DeRusha here. The Canopy Group represents 16 different insurance companies, not just one. They give you options. Each year, they'll review your program so you don't have to, making sure you get the best coverage at the best price. Do like I did. Go to thecanopygroup.com.
Now, the latest conditions and the outlook for the next few days with your CCO forecast.
Forecast brought to you by my friends at the Canopy Group. We appreciate them. Tonight, isolated showers possible early. Partly cloudy overnight, low of 68. Tomorrow, mostly sunny and humid, high of 89. Gross. Average high of 74. Right now, it's 84 in St. Paul on CCO.
Broadcasting from the dailyagenda.com studios. This is News Talk 830 WCCO. Where do Minnesota insiders get their news in an informed way, analysis, and perspective that'll make you smarter at the water cooler? The dailyagenda.com.
Yeah, tomorrow we're going to be at Target Field for the Yankees series. It's the last week. Last home game.
Last home, yeah.
Is this weekend?
It's going to be a lot of fun sitting in 90 degrees.
What a great, whose idea was that?
I don't know.
To go live at Target Field tomorrow.
That person needs to rethink their entire life.
No.
Clearly.
No. Really appreciate that.
Yeah, you bet.
Buddy. Thanks a lot.
You got it.
Dan was like, DeRusha took 3 days off last week. I got it.
Guess what?
Welcome back. Yeah. Last night when I got home, so we took the light rail at the airport from downtown, which I highly recommend. And especially at 8 in the morning, there was so many security officers, so much enforcement. There were people everywhere. They checked my ticket. They were checking tickets, all the things. Sunday, we got back, and our flight arrived at 9:15, 9:30. And even though we had carry-on, they made us check it. So then we had to wait. And we get on the train, and the train arrives in downtown just as the Viking game was letting.
Oh, that had to be fun.
Not ideal.
No.
Not ideal. But still, like, you know what I spent? $4, $2 each way instead of paying for parking. It was wonderful.
Not bad.
Wonderful. I was going to talk about the Emmys, but I burned up all the time.
Yeah, you did.
No. The Emmys were boring.
You should go read a book.
The Emmys were boring, were they not? And Nate Bargatze, he's funny, and deadpan comedians are not the best award show hosts.
Not always, no.
You know? The Pit is a show that I like, and so this is how I view these awards. If I like the show and it wins awards, then that's a successful award.
There you go.
The Pit won Best Drama, and it beat the show I don't like, Severance, which is too weird. Severance is too weird. This has been TV criticism from your friend Jason. I used to work in TV. Here's my criticism. Too weird. It's too weird. We're going to break. Top of the hour. Mortgage rates. Which way do you want them to go? We're waiting for Fed rate decision this week. Will that kind of change and shake up the housing market? We'll talk about it.
If you're planning on selling your home soon, you need to be in the know on the changes to the real estate market and our economy so that you can sell it for the most money possible. Hi, it's Vanita with interest rate fluctuations.
WCCO Radio, hello.
You want to be fully informed. If you're thinking of selling your home, my good friend, the good neighbor agent, John Schuster of the John Schuster Group, Coldwell Banker Realty, along with Paul Douglas, will be hosting another free 45-minute online seminar. Learn the 5 mistakes most homeowners make when trying to sell, how to properly market a home in a balancing market, and 5 things you can do right now to make the most money. 4 webinar times, Tuesday, October 7th, 11 a.m. and 6 p.m., Thursday, the 9th, 11 a.m. and 6 p.m.
Yeah, I don't know any
Space is
specifics of
limited.
that contest.
Sign up
It's
today
really
by going to the johnschustergroup.com. Click the banner at the top of the page marked Home Seller Forum.
Home, sell a home, we'll get you moving. JohnSchusterGroup.com.
Terms and conditions may apply.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Kris Lindahl, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody. Kris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Where's my tickets?
Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Kris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today. See representative for warranty details. Promotion is 20% off plus a 10% senior or military discount. 1 discount per household.
Get your home into the comfort zone with Metro Heating and Cooling.
Call Metro Heating and Cooling for a $99 furnace tune-up and safety check. Find out more at metroheating.com.
Where strong opinions meet open minds. News Talk 830 WCCO 1029 HD2 Minneapolis, St. Paul. Streaming live on the free Odyssey app.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
I'm Christopher Cruz in Washington. There's been another deadly U.S. military strike on alleged drug traffickers from Venezuela. From the White House, CBS's Stacey Lynn.
President Trump says the U.S. has again targeted a boat allegedly carrying drugs from Venezuela. He posted on Truth Social in all caps, "Be warned, if you are transporting drugs that can kill Americans, we are hunting you." He says 3 were killed in the strike. Earlier today, Venezuelan President Maduro said the recent incidents between the two countries are aggression from the U.S. and not just tensions. He vowed that his country would exercise its legitimate right to defend itself.
The Trump administration continues its fight for almost $60 million to strengthen security for Supreme Court justices and other federal officials. CBS News congressional correspondent Torian Small says White House officials also want to increase funding to protect members of Congress.
This would primarily focus on the executive and judicial, though White House officials believe that there will be a pathway forward by legislators here to figure out what should happen for lawmakers.
American and Chinese trade negotiators, that is, today agreed on the framework of a plan that will allow TikTok to stay in the U.S. CBS's Kelly O'Grady on the Money Watch.
The Chinese readout from that meeting has come out, and they're also saying that there is a framework for a deal. So there has to be some indication that ByteDance would be willing to sell, and perhaps that would come at the direction of the Chinese government.
Bipartisan law bars TikTok from operating in the U.S. until it's sold to an organization that doesn't have ties to China. The big fast food chain is making changes to the way its beef is produced. CBS's Jim Krasula has the story.
McDonald's says it plans to invest $200 million over the next 7 years to promote regenerative agriculture practices on cattle ranches. Regenerative ag techniques are used to conserve water, enhance soil health, and reduce the need for synthetic chemicals and fertilizers.
Other big companies, including General Mills, Nestle, Walmart, and PepsiCo, have also been investing in regenerative farming projects in recent years. There was a hearing today for rapper Lil Nas X after he was arrested last month as he was walking down Ventura Boulevard in Los Angeles in his underwear and cowboy boots. CBS's Matt Piper.
Lil Nas X was not in court, but his attorneys were, who referenced that the rapper is in treatment. The judge modified the conditions of his August arrest in order for him to be treated out of state at an undisclosed location. His attorney, Drew Finling.
He's had a great life. He'll continue to have a great life. And this is a bump that he's going to get over.
This is CBS News.
Sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Get renter's insurance to protect the things that make your place a home, including coverage for theft or damage. Visit progressive.com.
Minnesota's trusted voice. Every hour. Let's get you caught up with what's happening now on News Talk 830 WCCO.
Mostly sunny, 83 degrees at 4:03. I'm Laura Oakes. Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Fry is asking the state for additional police help in South Minneapolis around Lake Street and 35W, where 5 people were shot near a transit station this morning. Minneapolis Police Chief Brian O'Hara says it is a problem area.
This walkway has been terrible, as I'm sure anyone who lives down here or has been through here can tell you. It's a whole lot of people congregating that are using drugs. It's all kinds of garbage and debris. And then, we believe that this disorder is contributing to other problems that the community has been experiencing.
O'Hara says one of the 5 victims has life-threatening injuries. The motive for the shooting is not known. In a statement, Mayor Fry says the city is taking immediate steps to secure the area and crack down on the dealers and violent offenders who are exploiting it. He also says the city will continue to provide pathways for people battling addiction to get the help that they need. Gun control advocates converging on the state capitol today in hopes of bringing change.
Do not wait for another child to die. Do not wait for another mother to be sitting here again, telling you their story of fear, sorrow, and grief. Because the mothers, we will keep coming.
The state Senate's Gun Violence Prevention Working Group holding its first hearing today. It was created in reaction to the murder of former House Speaker Melissa Hortman earlier this summer and the Annunciation mass shooting just weeks ago. While the bipartisan group is not expected to take any formal action, they will focus on possible gun reform and safety measures that could be discussed in an upcoming special session. The Minneapolis City Council's Budget Committee considering a proposal to cut police officer overtime pay. Right now, officers are getting paid double for overtime, a measure that was implemented as an incentive when police staffing levels reached all-time lows. City leaders say now that the staffing situation isn't as dire, overtime pay should return to time and a half, which would save the city more than $3 million. Uber and Lyft drivers demanding better conditions at MSP Airport's rideshare lot.
Drivers who say they sometimes wait hours in the ride-sharing lot outside the airport waiting to pick up passengers spoke out at a recent Metropolitan Airports Commission meeting to demand better conditions. Local SEIU organizer Kevin Whalen explains.
Right now it has just a few porta potties that are often dirty. There's no running water, no indoor bathroom facilities, nor any place to wait or pray for people that pray outside. So what folks are asking for is just facilities in the waiting area that are indoors.
The Metropolitan Airports Commission said in a statement it has expanded the rideshare pickup area and has doubled the number of portable restrooms in the waiting lot. They also say they're committed to using new technology to further reduce wait times. Taylor Rivera, News Talk 830 WCCO.
And it is not the news Vikings fans want to hear about their brand new quarterback.
I would anticipate we are not planning on having him for Sunday and don't likely see this being any kind of short-term IR thing, but I do want to see, and Tyler and the group want to see how he responds, to treatment this week.
Head coach Kevin O'Connell commenting on J.J. McCarthy's high ankle sprain he suffered in last night's home opener. ESPN reporting McCarthy may be sidelined for 2 to 4 weeks. WCCO News Time is 4:06.
Time to find out how it's moving on the roads and what's moving in via the skies. This is traffic and weather together on CCO, starting with a check of the commute.
Brought to you by Whole Foods Market. Shop in, store online. West 94 near Highway 280. Crashed for the most part off to the left shoulder, but it is still slowing you down a tad through the area. In fact, it kind of stays on the heavy and slow side. Make way into downtown Minneapolis. South 100 is make way toward 50th. Looks like we may have a possible crash. Traffic is slow as you come down from Highway 7, 94 westbound beyond Weaver Lake Road. Accident in the final stages of clearing. Still slow, though, as you make way through the area. Now at Whole Foods Market, you get 20% off air-chilled, boneless, skinless chicken breast with Prime through September 16th. As always, there are no antibiotics ever. Make a balanced meal with this versatile protein. While supplies last, shop in-store online. Terms apply. Jerry Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCO.
Mnexspike COVID-19 vaccine mRNA by Moderna is now available and easy to find near you. To learn more, visit mnexspike.com. That's MNEXSPIKE.com.
Now, the latest conditions and the outlook for the next few days with your CCO forecast.
Brought to you by Moderna. Here's WCCO TV Chief Meteorologist Chris Schaefer.
It stays warm and humid the next couple of days. Clouds clearing out overnight tonight. 68 will be the low. Plenty of sunshine tomorrow. This will be the hot one with a high of 89. A muggy day. Still a little humid on Wednesday. Will be cooler, though, because showers will be moving in by the afternoon. Wednesday's high around 85.
Mostly sunny right now, 83 at News Talk 830 WCCO.
It's like having Google with a Minnesota accent.
You darn tootin'.
You don't just get answers. You get the local spin that truly matters. News Talk 830 WCCO. Good questions. Topics you'll probably talk about at dinner. Places to go for dinner. This is the Ride Home Reimagined. Welcome to Drive Time with DeRusha. Now, here's Jason DeRusha.
Hour 2 of Drive Time. Glad to have you with us. It is Monday. I'm back after, this is the empty nester lifestyle. This is what it is. Taking a little weekend in Chicago. Cook is like, get to work. No, Dan doesn't want me to come to work because he got to fill in on Friday. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. I listened to a little on the podcast. You can always listen to our show back. We upload every segment to all of the podcast platforms. So just search Drive Time with DeRusha. This week is going to be a big week for people who have been maybe waiting. All right, do I want to sell a house? Do I want to move up? What do I want to do? The housing market has been so weird over the last year. And this weekend when I was in Chicago, I was talking to my sister who lives in a rather small house for a family of 4 with 2 people who both work from home, a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old. Feels real small in that house, but she is all twisted up in knots when it comes to the interest rate scenario. This week, the Fed Board of Governors will meet to decide what the Fed funds rate will be. And there are some who are wondering, like, all right, is this going to kind of shake things up? So we wanted to talk to my buddy, Kris Lindahl, who is with us right now with a little bit of insight on what we might expect. Because, Chris, that story that I just told about my sister, there are thousands of people who are in that same boat right now, right?
That's right. Yeah. Thanks for having me, Mr. DeRusha.
Of course.
I love watching all your stuff on social media. You're living the life now.
Empty net. I mean, but I'm also part of the problem with the housing market, aren't I? We're empty nesters, and who is not selling his house? It's me.
That's true, but you've always been part of the problem, so I don't think that's anything new.
There's no doubt. There's no doubt about it.
I think what you're describing though is there's a lot of people in that situation that have become so rate sensitive, and the Fed fund rate, obviously that's a conversation that's happening this week. And I think there's a lot of experts that are predicting that there's going to be at least a, 25 basis adjustment. I think the reality is that we're a long ways away from a mortgage rate perspective to a market that really gets people to a sort of a motivated place. I mean, as you know, a lot of people have, they're currently in their home have a 2 or 3% mortgage rate.
Right.
And so a quarter point here, a half point there. I mean, we're still in the 6s for most programs, and just came from the 7. So we're a long ways away. I mean, we're not even close to sort of changing that. And like, for example, inside our organization, like we have a local real estate market uncertainty index that we track with a lot of data points that really help us understand like where the market needs to be, where we'll start to see that open market start moving. And I think it's going to be pretty soft for a while until we start to get quite a few more rate adjustments. I think this is just the beginning.
30-year is what, 6.35, something around that?
Yeah.
Varies
it
every
varies
day,
a
but-
little bit depending on
yeah.
that down payment, credit score, or whatnot. But I mean, yeah, we're still, and I think
What
obviously
do
a lot of
people want? What are people telling you they're looking for?
Yeah, I think anyone listening that that's bought and sold several houses or knows that historically, mid 6s is still a very favorable
Pretty
rate.
good, yeah.
It is, but I think when you have a 2% rate on your house or a 3% mortgage, or maybe your income and hasn't been rising with the cost of inflation and mortgage. I mean,
That's
insurance
real,
rates,
yeah.
groceries, right? It's real. So I think the cost of things is just so expensive that it's making it really challenging to have homes affordable. And it's not only it isn't only the mortgage rates; it's also been the appreciation of the home value too.
What do you when you look at that, Kris, I wonder, and from talking to my sister, who is much younger than me, millennial, kind of the age and of the success in career that they should be, historically they would be moving up into something with a little more room. But they're struggling, like, because the price of housing hasn't been going down. You would think like in a soft market, that would go down, but is the supply just of available homes tight, or what? Why is it that the other lever isn't moving?
Well, there's been a lack of supply, I would say, over the past several years, but I think anyone that is listening would probably agree. I mean, you're noticing way more for sale signs in neighborhoods. You go online, you see a lot more homes for sale. You're seeing more price adjustments, more open houses, more transactions are falling apart because of the layoffs, or someone's lost their job, or they can no longer afford the house because of for whatever reason. And so I will tell you that we are in a real shift in the real estate market. A lot of people just don't know it yet. And the best way to measure this is just to simply look around your area. And are you noticing more for sale signs and houses that are sitting longer than before? Obviously, we have, uncertainty index and things that we track internally, and so we can see this ahead of time. But I think consumers are starting to see that it is slowing down. And if you look historically, we've sort of been on the rise since the last market correction, with a little few blips along the way. Things are just softening, because I think what's happening is that you're starting to see that there just aren't a lot of people that can afford housing right now.
Yeah. When we're talking with Kris Lindahl from Kris Lindahl Real Estate, if people are waiting, I hate to tell people, like, you got to adjust your expectations, but like, what do you tell people where because my sister was very much like, like the interest rates, like, I'm not sure how much house I can afford and all of that. I guess, what do you tell people, or how do we get people to sort of get to a point where, like, the low 6s, high 5s feel good enough to move anyway?
Yeah, I think you have to look at, it's more of the opportunity cost and time. It's like, what are you missing by not making a move, right? So whether that's memories, whether that's that fresh start that you've been sort of waiting to go to, that you're sort of stuck in a situation that you really don't want to be in. And I think asking yourself, like, hey, if 10 years go by as I'm waiting for the market to correct, or waiting for the perfect rate, what did I miss along the way? And am I going to have regret later? Right. And so I think there's a lot of people where housing decisions aren't just driven by money. It's also memories and all the other things that go along with that. And so the quantitative and qualitative side of any decision that you would make. And then I would say also, a lot of homeowners, there are a lot of things in their house that they haven't updated and maybe don't have the budget or the money to do them. And then you also have buyers that are their preference is turnkey because they don't have as much money. And so the market's a little bit stuck there too, where someone may have been in their home for 20 or 30 years and they haven't fixed it up and they don't want to, declutter, depersonalize, do all the things that need to be done to get it ready for the open market. And then you've got a buyer that wants turnkey because they don't have the extra savings to go and fix it all up when they get it. And so those two things are also a rub in this market as well, which is also why, as you know, a lot of people are saying yes to our guaranteed cash offer program because of that exact reason. So that's helping some people get unstuck in the market. But I think the other one is just asking the tough questions that if, hey, 10, 15 years down the road, will I regret not making a decision?
Sure.
And what I've seen everywhere, I mean, I ask this every day, I talk to so many people and have conversations. When has anyone in life ever perfectly timed anything? Whether that's the stock market, the housing market, it just doesn't happen. And so you have to be okay with, hey, you're going to get some of it right and you're going to get some of it wrong.
Right.
But if you're building the memories that you're happy with and that later in life you don't have regret, then you should make that decision today.
Couple texters asking about investors and hedge funds and corporations kind of out there buying up single family homes. Does that drive up cost? Is that a factor you're seeing in the marketplace right now?
Not as much here in Minnesota. Obviously, our option is very popular, but you don't see a lot of hedge funds in this market. What you do see is what I described a little while ago, which is you've got the homeowner that doesn't want to put the money in and sort of risk and gamble on the open market, hoping they're going to get it right, managing contractors, spending money, all the uncertainty that comes with a home renovation project and not knowing what you're going to get back. And then you've got a buyer that wants to buy something turnkey. And that's sort of right. That option is really revitalizing some of these neighborhoods and helping homes that would have traditionally been stuck, never went on the market. Homeowners don't move because they're overwhelmed with the belongings and the renovations and repairs that need to be done. And so we're definitely seeing an increase of that. That's what the smart sellers are doing. They're getting unstuck and moving forward with a program like ours. Whereas a lot of others just aren't moving at all and they're sort of frozen. Yeah. I mean, a big part of the market right now is like in gridlock.
Yeah.
We're not, it's not
exactly.
moving.
Yeah. Not enough new stuff coming online. The new houses that are being built are $600,000 plus. Just makes it difficult to kind of move that in that 250 to 500 range for sure. Kris, always appreciate it. Thanks for taking the time.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Kris Lindahl. I endorse him. This was not a paid ad, but I love getting Kris's insight and thought you guys would enjoy it too. Based on the watching, which we don't know, they're going to lower those rates. Will it show up in the mortgage market? You don't know. You just don't know. Drive Time will take a break, and we'll be back in just a minute. I want to talk about my Chicago visit and what it was like 3 days, sort of walking around. I was like the crazy guy walking around downtown Chicago. Who showed up first, me or ICE? We'll talk about that next.
You're listening to Drive Time with DeRusha on News Talk 830 WCCO.
Without an Advent clinic nearby, people suffering needlessly from chronic nasal congestion and sinus infections would be stuck with either Band-Aid or sledgehammer solutions. Band-Aids are pills or nasal sprays, and they're not true solutions. Surgery is a sledgehammer, and that's what we're trying to avoid. Because most people don't need surgery for nose and sinus issues, nor do they want a 14-day recovery. Our unique Advent approach can, in 20 minutes in our office, open your blocked nose for good, with only 1 day recovery. I'm Advent founder Dr. Kandula. Outside of Advent's four walls, invasive surgery is what they'll recommend. But here you will find effective and convenient in-office solutions to help you stop the need for Band-Aids and avoid the sledgehammer.
Go to adventknows.com to schedule your appointment, because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better. Most insurance accepted.
I'm John Taft, Vice Chairman of Baird. For over 100 years, Baird's people and expertise have made a difference in the financial advice and services we provide. Our experts on 3 continents combine diverse backgrounds and perspectives to meet your needs. Being nationally recognized as a great place to work helps Baird attract the best people in our industry to advise you. Experience a different kind of financial partnership. Discover the Baird difference. Visit BairdTwinCities.com.
Chad back with you once again, talking about my friends with Pella Windows and Doors. You're going to track them down at PellaNorthland.com. Let me first of all tell you about their September deal. $250 off per qualifying window and $500 off per qualifying door, or 0% APR for 48 months. They've been around for 100 years. You want to see the showroom? Brooklyn Park, Plymouth, Woodbury. Track them down. PellaNorthland.com.
If you're 55 or older and into that whole saving money thing, T-Mobile has an exclusive phone and internet bundle just for you. Right now, get 2 unlimited phone lines plus 5G home internet for just $30 each per month with autopay, plus taxes and fees. And with 5G home internet, setup is easy with just one cord and no technician needed, which is great if you're also into that whole keeping it simple thing. Switch now and experience the best mobile network in the U.S. Visit your local store to start saving. T-Mobile, it's better over here.
Based on analysis by Ookla of speed test intelligence data Q4 2024 to Q1 2025. Ookla trademarks used under license. Unlimited on our network. Customers on voice plan may notice speeds lower than other customers, and further reduction if using more than 50 gigs a month due to data prioritization. Video streams and SD on this plan. Home internet pricing after $20 a monthly bill credit plus $5 per line without autopay. Debit or bank account required. See 5G device coverage and access details at T-Mobile.com.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Kris Lindahl, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Kris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Kris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today. See representative for warranty details. Promotion is 20% off plus a 10% senior or military discount. 1 discount per household.
You're listening to Drive Time with DeRusha
I would rather have a root canal with no Novocaine.
on News Talk 830 WCCO.
So I had a great time in Chicago. It is one of the greatest cities in the world. It is amazing. The ICE operation that Chicago was worried about arriving. ICE is happening. There's a lot of immigration enforcement in Chicago. I didn't see any of it. I was in downtown area, River North, and there wasn't any sort of obvious immigration enforcement. I will say that walking around downtown Chicago is a good reminder that sometimes the images of cities that we see in the national media does not match the reality of what's going on. So I was in Chicago Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Alyssa was working on Wednesday and Thursday. So I was walking around, just walking. I think I walked 10 miles each day. It's a lot of walking. Took the train, the L. I had a Chicago-style Italian beef, like you would have in the show The Bear. You've never seen The Bear, have you, Dan? I don't think you've seen that show.
That's a Hulu show, right?
I don't know.
I've not seen it, and I think that that's why I don't have access to Hulu. So.
Right. It's a beautiful city. And we had, I felt safe the whole time. And so, like, I don't blame, like, when Minneapolis is in the national media, like, what you see about Minneapolis is true to a certain degree, right? Like, what they're reporting on is what's happening there. And certainly the crime in Chicago is happening. But the reality is that downtown is beautiful. It's very walkable. We did the whole trip without a car. So I took the L from the airport to the hotel. I took some buses. I absolutely loved it. A couple things jumped into my mind out of this trip. First of all, the guy who owns Mr. Beef in Chicago lives in St. Paul. Right. So Mr. Beef in Chicago on Orleans is the inspiration for the Bear. The guy who wrote The Bear is friends with the guy who owns Mr. Beef. Now, the guy who owns Mr. Beef is Kris Zucchero, and Kris actually lives in St. Paul because Kris met a Minnesota woman.
It's always what it is, right?
And that's exactly what it is. So Kris said this. Now, I know a lot of people like to rag on the Minnesota food scene or the Minnesota pizza scene. Kris alleged that the pizza there's pizza in Minneapolis that is better than like 90% of the pizza places in Chicago.
Whoa. Them's fighting words in Chicago.
Which I would just say, come on, man. Like, even as a booster of Minneapolis, for me, that is some straight up crazy talk. Later this week, I will release a video where you'll get to meet Kris because he is an absolute one of a kind guy. So we should have him on the show sometime when he's back here in town. But so we had, I know, like, I took some grief, Dan, when I said last week that I was going to have an extravagant meal.
Yes, I recall.
And if you're a subscriber to my newsletter, you would have seen some photos and seen my reaction. And so you can find that newsletter if you go to DeRushaDownload.substack.com. Did you like that?
Excellent plug.
Was that good work?
Excellent plug.
It was worth it. It was $400 a person on dinner before tip and before tax. So it was $600, I think, right? Yeah, it was a lot of dollars. Was it worth it? Yes. It was worth it. It was an extraordinary experience.
And it's the experience that you were paying for.
That's right.
So food is a big part of it, but it's more than just
it was a combination of experiencing the genius. Like, what would you pay for, like, the Rolling Stones at their peak, to watch Jackson Pollock create a master work of art, and food at the top of its level? So it was artistry, it was creativity, and it was culinary. So you're like, well, what's that worth? I don't know. Was it too much money?
Well,
yes. Am I going to do it again? No. But
right.
Was it amazing? My God, yes.
And really the only question is, what was it worth to you?
That's right. Yeah, I do. Oh, gosh, I would not recommend. If you, the listener, want to know, do I think you should, now, if you're watching on YouTube, here's some of the video of how the meal started. It was bonkers. Like, just kind of decor in the room. All of a sudden, these guys come in and light them all on fire.
So it's like a red keep with all these fires burning in these.
It was a lot. And then there was a dish that was like a hot little piece of potato on a stick with like a little bit of butter and a little bit of Parmesan. You pull the stick, and the potato drops into this cold soup, heats up the soup, and you take a shot of it. It was crazy.
Sort of like a reverse fondue kind of situation.
Kind of, yeah. It was crazy. Do I recommend this? Again, no. I'm not telling anyone you should spend your money in this way. I am telling you it was amazing. It was amazing. And I've eaten at a lot of places. There aren't too many places that a couple days later I'd still be talking about. It was amazing. We are going to break. My next topic feels ridiculous after saying I spent that much money on dinner. Because this morning I got an oil change, and what happened there really kind of set me off. I'm going to talk about it in just a minute here at Drive Time.
This is Drive Time with DeRusha on News Talk 830 WCCO.
You heard him on the show about 20 minutes ago. My friend Kris Lindahl is an option for you. He's the best option for you. If you're in a circumstance where you want to get unstuck, that's the way Kris talked about it. At Kris Lindahl Real Estate, more and more people right now are taking the guaranteed cash offer because it gets them unstuck. It helps you through life. You get a fresh start, and you get to move forward. It is the guaranteed solution for selling your house and doing it quickly. But like a lot of us are stuck waiting for the perfect interest rate, waiting for the time to clean up our house and waiting for the money to upgrade things and change things. And the reality is today is your day to move forward. You don't have to do any of that stuff. I know Kris, you know Kris. Kris will take care of the entire situation for you with a guaranteed cash offer. All you have to do is go to the website, KrisLindahl.com. Incredibly, Kris can get you to closing in 2 days. 2 days. He's a Minnesotan. He knows how to market. He knows this market, and he can sell your house fast. KrisLindahl.com or call 763-401-SOLD. Terms and conditions may apply.
Saying what needs to be said.
The United States of America. We are not united.
Thoughts and prayers is where we start. It's not where we end.
Where the smart people hang out and discuss what really matters.
Israel-Hamas war. Does the Democratic Party have an official position on this?
We're never going to have public transportation system in the Twin Cities that people think we're going to have.
Yeah, some may post great quotes. Here, we drop them live.
If you Kirill Kaprizov and you're not really sure about be here for an additional 8 years, take a shorter deal.
Sometimes you lose an election. You still need to show up.
News Talk 830 WCCO.
Mike Rowe here with a random fact. More than half of the homes that have basements in North America will experience water damage. It's true. Whether it's basement moisture, flooding, or bowing walls, do yourself a favor. Call Groundworks. I spent some time working with these guys. They're the real deal. Their people are trained and certified to waterproof your basement and stabilize your walls. Innovative Basement Authority is now Groundworks. Schedule a free inspection.
Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for details.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6481. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6481. That's 800-575-6481. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
I've been turning wrenches for nearly 20 years. And for the longest time, it was chaos. Communication was spotty, PMs got missed, downtime skyrocketed, and accountability practically impossible. Then we switched to Maintain X. Total game changer. Now the whole operation runs through the Maintain X app. work orders, safety procedures, parts inventory. I manage it all in one place with real-time updates. No more delays, no more surprises.
MaintainX helps maintenance teams run smarter, faster, and more efficiently. Thousands of frontline teams trust MaintainX to maximize uptime, cut costs, and stay audit ready. Start your free trial at maintainx.com. That's maintain and the letter X.com.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. We're dedicated to serving people 50 and up like me. Our needs are different. Big Wireless wants us in an unlimited plan, but if you're not using all that data, you're probably getting used. At Consumer Cellular, we're focused on affordable, reliable plans, including data that suits your needs, not ours. Our plans start at just $20, and you'll get the best customer service in the business.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com/facts. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
Time to find out how it's moving on the roads and what's moving in via the skies. This is traffic and weather together on CCO, starting with a check of the commute.
Brought to you by American Rare Coin and Collectibles. You can find them at AmericanRareCoinAndCollectibles.com. East 36 as you make way toward Fairview. Got an accident working in the left lane. Things are jammed and crammed as you move past Highway 280. West 94 280. Got an accident working out there off the left shoulder. Traffic is slow past the scene into Minneapolis. 35W seeing slowdowns both directions as you make way between Hennepin Avenue and Lake Street. Eastbound 394 plugged up as you make way between 100 and downtown. If you've inherited valuable coins, gold, silver, or jewelry, where do you turn? American Rare Coin and Collectibles. For over 30 years, American Rare Coin has been purchasing valuable coin and precious metals collections with honesty, transparency, and immediate payment. American Rare Coin and Collectibles.com. Jerry Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCO.
If you have trees to trim or need tree removal, call an ISA certified arborist. Call the CCO Land Company I use. B&M Tree Service, 1-800-569-9034. Or get on the web, bnmtree.com.
Now, the latest conditions and the outlook for the next few days with your CCO forecast.
CCO forecast. B&M Tree Service brings you that. Here's Chris Schaefer.
Clouds will clear out overnight tonight. We'll slip back to 68. It's going to be another muggy night. It stays humid tomorrow. We'll have plenty of sunshine, and this will be the warm one with a high up around 89. Partly cloudy to start on Wednesday with scattered showers moving in. A little cooler, 85 the high. And those scattered showers will be possible Thursday, Friday, possibly into Saturday. Not a washout, plenty of dry time, but a chance of rain as well.
We all turned our air conditioning back on, right? 83 in Brooklyn Park on CCO.
You're listening to Drive Time with DeRusha.
Pathetic, but entertaining.
Pathetic, but entertaining.
On News Talk 830 WCCO.
So this morning I go get an oil change. I had two car-related things that happened to me today, Dan. The first thing is that I changed my license plate. Because when I went to the state fair,
You finally got that personalized plate?
Yeah, what do you think? What would my plate say?
Something that's like, don't look me in the eye.
Yeah, right. No eye contact.
Have to, something like
4-6 too. I think I've talked.
That's not what it was?
No.
Oh, okay.
I think I've talked about my license plate before. My current car, I bought used from a guy I know. Well, from a dealership, but he worked.
You got a guy.
I got a guy. And when you buy a car and you don't opt in for the personalized license plate, you get whatever you get, right? And so my license plate arrives in the mail because first, you get the little piece of paper you tape in the window. And it shows up, and I thought my friend was messing with me because the plate was FAB. FAB. Which, when you see the license plate for your car show up, and the license plate is fabulous, it just was a little, and like, John, what are you doing? Fab. Here comes Jason in his red car. It's fab. I'm like, ugh. But going into the state fair, when you go in the media parking lot, there always was a law enforcement officer at the gate. And one day, one of the officers was like, whoa, wait a minute. Because my front license plate, like some of the lettering, was starting to peel off. And he was like, you got to get that replaced. You could get pulled over for that. And I don't want to get pulled over. You know me, law-abiding American citizen. I don't want to get pulled over. So I put in a request for replacement plates, which I thought would be the same. I thought it'd be the same license plate, right? Why wouldn't they send me another Fab? No. Fab is dead. R.I.P. to Fab. It's over. So that was the first thing. Then I go to get an oil change.
Wait a minute. Is the new one better or worse than Fab?
I don't know what it I don't know. I'm supposed to remember. Do you guys remember?
Well, see, here's
Do
the
you
thing,
know
though,
your
but-
license plates?
So you can complain about the Fab, but you always remembered that one.
Yeah.
Instead of, ZJ.
Well, now I don't know.
Is.
Now it's like
That's what
some.
I'm saying.
Now it's some random PYJ. PYJ. I wrote it down. Yeah, PYJ. What is that? Fab. I got to be, Dad, if your license plate said Fab, there are people in your life that would mock you for it, right? Or are you just surrounded by love and compassionate people?
Oh, well, I mean,
my friends were
I work with Dave Harrigan, so that's definitely not true.
All right.
No, I think in my case, it would be like calling the tall guy tiny. And that people would be endlessly entertained that I was driving around with a license plate that said Fab.
Yeah. Now, a texter says there's 999 other people with Fab plates. Yeah. Probably.
Possibly. Yeah.
Fab is dead. It's gone. So anyway, this is typical of me. The minor part of the story becomes the major part of the story. But I had.
But you digress.
I mean, is that the topic? Should I just stop right there? What is the most embarrassing license plate configuration that you've ever had? 651-461-9226. I mean, there are only so many things that you can do with a 3-letter combo, right? I mean, I sent a text to my kids with an RIP of my old license plate because it just feels like it was a significant chapter of my life. I'm glad to be rid of Fab, but I'm also now, I guess I'm mourning Fab now that I'm talking about it. This is therapy for me, this show. This show is just me confessing various things that go on in my life. And then, you all have to tell me what it means. What is the deep-seated issue I have with Fab? Oh, gosh. So then I go for the oil change. You've never had texters are saying, tell everyone that Fab is short for Faber. Yeah, like I'm a big Brock Faber
Huge
guy.
Wild fan, yeah.
Love me some Faber. Texter had the license plate EVL 666.
No, they didn't.
Yeah?
No, they didn't.
Sure.
I don't buy that for a second.
You don't believe that?
Nope.
That feels very believable.
No, not at all.
Maybe not.
At least Faber was the Grand Marshal for the Maple Grove Days Parade.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. That's such a deep cut and so good.
It's just so mean. So you guys are so mean to me. I'm just sitting here trying to be nice. Yeah. So anyway, read some more text. I'm gonna show people this wonderful the license plate.
Texture says, I have a personalized Timberwolves plate I got during the Wolves playoff run 2 years ago. BRNGYA.
Bring ya. That's pretty good.
That is pretty good.
Is that true? I'm going to assume now that everyone.
I think that's closer true than EVL 666 is. I'm just going to say. I feel pretty confident in that.
Pretty confident.
Another texture brings up the classic Seinfeld episode where Kramer gets his license plate mixed up with a proctologist's personalized plate. Imagine How that went.
Awkward for sure.
Another texter says, my husband had PWR 111 and loved it.
Just randomly assigned. Power
111.
That's pretty good.
Or 11D1. What do you go with?
I would go 111 myself. Just funny to, like, I've never been a personalized guy. Here's a texter saying it, getting a ticket for appealing license plate. Many drive without a license plate. I know this was like, I think it was a state trooper. They were just looking out for me. I appreciate that.
I mean, they didn't have to say anything.
No, but then I felt like, don't you feel like a real jerk if you're like, well.
No, I feel grateful that I got a warning before I got a ticket.
Well, right. That's what I'm saying. Like, if I didn't do it, it would be sort of an obnoxious. So if you're watching on the stream, youtube.com/WCCO Radio, you can see the fab plate and you see like the rippage. So the F is sort of hard to read. The B from a distance could be an O, I guess. Nag 365 texter.
Again,
unlikely.
I like it, but
unlikely. Yeah. Funny though. So yeah, that was my.
I did used to have a plate. I forget what the number combination was, but the letter combination was VZW.
Oh,
and I always thought Verizon Wireless. That's how I always remembered what it was.
I can never remember what my plate is. Like, I always have to look it up.
Yeah, I have a picture on my phone just to remind myself. Now, we just got a call. Somebody is like, okay, but when do we get the oil change story?
Right.
And that should come up
after the break.
After the break.
Someone wants the oil change story so bad they're calling in.
Come on.
You guys are the best. You are the best. Sometime next week, we're going to have some coaching session where a boss is going to be like, could you get to the point? And Exhibit A is this phone call that says, you know what? Also, could you get to the point? So we will next.
This is Drive Time with DeRusha on News Talk 830 WCCO.
Pork! Dan told me to tell you about pork, so I shall. Jason here. Minnesota pork. My gosh, I am so grateful to the Minnesota Pork Board and the Minnesota Pork family for being a part of Drive Time with DeRusha. It's been such a thrill, and it continues to be a thrill to tell their story. Why do I like telling the story? Well, I love the people. I've had the honor, and you have had the pleasure of listening to so many of our Minnesota family farmers, 3,000 of them. When I first started talking to Minnesota Pork, I didn't know a dang thing about the farmers. I just knew that I love pork. Favorite food? Pork. Favorite cut of pork? The pork cut. I love pork. Bacon is just the beginning. And I do love bacon. I had bacon. I had a BLT sandwich this weekend. Fabulous. Oh, it's peak BLT season, isn't it? Get those fresh tomatoes. Nice, big, thick cut of Minnesota pork, and off you go. But tonight for dinner, I've already been thinking, like, all right, what are we doing for dinner tonight? It feels pork choppy to me. Maybe it's pork tenderloin. If you go to the website, mnpork.com, sometimes I need a little inspiration, right? And if you go to mnpork.com, they have all these recipes, and you can look if you want to use the air fryer, if you want to bake it. It's kind of warm out. Maybe you don't want to deal with firing up your oven. Look up grill recipes. And they got that for you too. Tons of ideas, tons of inspiration. Get inspired and support our family farmers. 3,000 of them. Awesome people. Let's go to the grocery store and the butcher shop, and let's have Minnesota pork for dinner.
You hear that? That's the sound of your business losing money. Legacy phone systems weren't built for today's teams. OpenPhone gives your business a smarter way to stay connected. OpenPhone lets you manage calls, texts, voicemail, and contacts all in one place so that you and your team can deliver a seamless customer experience from ring to... Need to take calls on the go? OpenPhone automatically transcribes, summarizes, and highlights next steps from every call, so you never miss a detail. Need insight into what closes a sale? With OpenPhone's AI call tags, you can instantly spot key topics like objections or pricing questions, and use those insights to coach your team and level up every customer interaction. And yes, you can bring your existing number with you for free.
Keep your team in sync and your customers happy with OpenPhone. OpenPhone. No missed calls, no missed customers. Try OpenPhone for free at openphone.com/try and get 20% off your first 6 months. That's openphone.com/try. openphone.com/TRY.
Attention. Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers. So don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-894-7722. That's 800-894-7722. Again, 800-894-7722.
If you're planning on selling your home soon, you need to be in the know on the changes to the real estate market in our economy so that you can sell it for the most money possible. Hi, it's Vanita. With interest rate fluctuation, talks of a recession, you want to be fully informed. If you're thinking of selling your home, my good friend, the Good Neighbor agent, John Schuster of the John Schuster Group, Coldwell Banker Realty, along with Paul Douglas, will be hosting another free 45-minute online seminar. Learn the 5 mistakes most homeowners make when trying to sell, how to properly market a home in a balancing market, and 5 things you can do right now to make the most money. 4 webinar times, Tuesday, October 7th, 11 a.m. and 6 p.m., Thursday, the 9th, 11 a.m. and 6 p.m. Space is limited. Sign up today by going to thejohnschustergroup.com. Click the banner at the top of the page marked Home Seller Forum.
Buy a home, sell a home, we'll get you moving. JohnSchusterGroup.com.
Terms and conditions may apply.
Time to find out how it's moving on the roads and what's moving in via the skies. This is traffic and weather together on CCO, starting with a check of the commute.
East 36 near Fairview crash has been taken care of. Update is brought to you by Chef IQ Sense. You're still going to find some slowdowns as we make way through Rosedale, heading out toward Rice Street. 610 westbound's jamming up as we move past East River Road, heading out toward 169. The crosstown is slow both directions between Cedar and Gleason. Chef IQ Sense is a wireless cooking thermometer that perfectly cooks your food. The Chef IQ probe is inserted into your food and connects to the Chef IQ app to ensure you never under or overcook your food. It's that simple. Order now on chefiq.com with code word WCCO for 15% off. Jerry Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCO.
With a well-designed will, trust, and estate plan, you can have peace of mind. Choose Matt Gutman of Gutman Law to give yourself peace of mind. Call him now, 612-895-1616 at gutmanlaw.com. Gutman Law, peace of mind today for tomorrow.
Now, the latest conditions and the outlook for the next few days with your CCO forecast.
Forecast is brought to you by Gutman Law, Wills Trust, and Probate Law at gutmanlaw.com. Tonight, isolated showers possible early, partly cloudy overnight, still warm at 68. Tomorrow, almost 90 degrees and humid. Right now, it's 94 on CCO.
Broadcasting from the dailyagenda.com studios. This is News Talk 830 WCCO. Where do Minnesota insiders get their news in an informed way, analysis, and perspective that'll make you smarter at the water cooler? TheDailyAgenda.com.
All right, I only have 2 minutes for the oil change story. The oil change. So I took my car to the dealership today for an oil change. And when it was done, which it didn't take that long, as an hour and a half, they rotated my tires, they changed my oil, they found a nail in my front tire, which they pulled out and patched. It was great. Great experience. I think like taking your car to the dealer for service is sort of underrated. I think it's a good experience. But then when I went to pay, they're like 3% charge for using your credit card. I was like, what? 3% charge for using your credit card. I think that if we're going to ban fees in this state, let's ban them. And if you run a business Now, if you're a small restaurant and you want to push people to use cash, fine. But charging 3% at a car dealer's service department, to me, felt crazy. Now, my bill was not crazy, right? Like it was, I ended up paying like $5.50 or $6 in credit card fee. Now, they said if you use your debit card, there would be no fee. I don't have a debit card. I've never had a debit card because if someone steals my debit card, then they steal my money. So I don't like debit cards. But you know what I like even less than debit cards? Paying fees, paying a 3% fee. I just thought, like, if you had a $2,000 like car repair, that's pretty significant. I mean, there was no fee for me using the Keurig machine in the lobby. Like, why am I paying? This is your business. I just think they do it because they can. That's probably the main reason. It doesn't bother me at a restaurant, I guess. Why does one bother me, the other doesn't? I don't know. Just drove me nuts. There's the payoff. We did it.
Let me tell you about this new pretzel cheddar club. Hey, I'm Carlos.
And I'm Ebony. And a little thing we love about the Chick-fil-A Pretzel Cheddar Club
is the tangy Dijon with the pretzel bun. It takes it to a whole nother level.
It goes perfectly with the chicken and the cheddar cheese and the bacon.
Man, you know how much you love bacon. And I love the different varieties. Grilled, spicy, original. It gets you nice and excited for fall.
Order the Pretzel Cheddar Club with Cherry Berry and Sprite for a limited time on the Chick-fil-A app. Real guests paid for their testimonials.
There's nothing like when you get that part from eBay and it just fits. Yeah, the first time. So you can do less of this and get right back to more of this. At eBay, you'll find all the parts you need, guaranteed to fit, at prices you'll love. Sounds good, doesn't it? eBay, things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Feel like everything's clouded by doubt? Visit CaliforniaPsychics.com. Our psychics are available to talk 24/7, and we guarantee if it's not life-changing, it's free. Experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
Out here in the middle of these acres, it can feel like you're the only person on Earth. That's how it feels when you're struggling with your mental health. But you don't have to feel alone. Find more information at loveyourmindtoday.org. Brought to you by the Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council.
Your home equity could vanish almost overnight, stolen by scammers who forge a deed and transfer it out of your name. The FBI calls it house stealing, and the worst part is you may not know it until it's too late. Find out if you're already a victim now at HomeTitleLock.com. Use promo code RADIO for a 30-day free trial, a title scan, and access to a title specialist, a $250 value. Go to HomeTitleLock.com now. Promo code RADIO.
How can you free your team from time-consuming office tasks? Amazon Business. Smart business buying tools enable buyers to find and purchase items fast so they can focus on strategy and growth. Free up your team and focus on your future. Learn more at AmazonBusiness.com.
Hosts that get it. Shows that get you. News Talk 830 WCCO 1029 HD2 Minneapolis, St. Paul. Always streaming on the free Odyssey app.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Christopher Cruz in Washington. President Trump says the U.S. military has attacked another boat carrying drugs from Venezuela.
You have proof. All you have to do is look at the cargo that was like it's spattered all over the ocean. Big bags of cocaine and fentanyl all over the place.
CBS's Stacey Lynn has more from the White House.
President Trump says the U.S. military again targeted a boat allegedly carrying drugs from Venezuela. In a post on social media, he said 3 people on the vessel were killed. Earlier today, Venezuelan President Maduro vowed to defend against what he called U.S. aggression.
Several senators, Democrats, and some Republicans are questioning the legality of the attacks. The president again today seemed to blame Charlie Kirk's killing on the left.
It looks like he was radicalized over the internet, and it's radicalized on the left. He's a left. A lot of problems with the left, and they get protected, and they shouldn't be protected.
As he hosted Kirk's podcast, Vice President J.D. Vance today also blamed liberals for the political violence that's erupted in this country.
We have to talk about this incredibly destructive movement
of left-wing extremism that has grown up over the last few years.
The president today signed a memo ordering National Guard troops and personnel from federal agencies to surge into Memphis. Details on that from CBS's Willie James Inman.
He does have the cooperation of Tennessee's governor. In fact, the governor adding in a statement over the weekend that this is building on another operation in coordination with federal authorities, including the FBI, state and local law enforcement personnel to push back against crime in the city of Memphis.
The president didn't say when the troops will arrive in the city. American and Chinese trade negotiators have agreed on a framework of a deal that would allow TikTok to keep operating in the U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent in Madrid.
We're not going to talk about the commercial terms of the deal. It's between two private parties.
President Trump has repeatedly delayed a bipartisan law that bars TikTok from the U.S. until it's sold to a non-Chinese company. Measles infections are being reported in one of the country's largest cities. CBS's Matt Piper has that.
The New York City Department of Health has confirmed 2 adult cases of measles on the Lower East Side and in Soho. The department says decreases in vaccination are leading to a global increase in measles cases, but the risk to the general public in New York City is low due to high vaccination rates among New Yorkers. Spread through the air, measles is highly contagious, and up to 90% of people who are exposed to a person with it will get it if they are unvaccinated or otherwise not immune.
The S&P 500 and NASDAQ closed at record highs today. This is CBS News.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Minnesota's trusted voice, every hour. Let's get you caught up with what's happening now on News Talk 830 WCCO.
Partly cloudy, humid, 81 degrees at 5:03. I'm Laura Oakes. Minneapolis police looking for suspects after 5 people were shot near the Metro Transit station at Lake Street and 35W late this morning. Chief Brian O'Hara says one of the victims has life-threatening injuries. He says the area where the shooting occurred has been a hot spot for drugs and violence.
It's been a concentration of reports that we've had with persons with a gun, robbery reports, and just other issues. We've had a number of shootings in the last 28 days, not far from where we are.
Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Fry is asking the state for additional police help meanwhile, and says the city is taking immediate steps to secure the area and crack down on the dealers and violent offenders who are exploiting it. Minneapolis police arrest a 50-year-old man suspected of killing his former girlfriend at a home in North Minneapolis Sunday. The victim is identified by family members as 34-year-old Mariah Rosanna Samuels. She leaves behind 2 sons. A somber but serious hearing this morning at the state capitol building.
I don't think any of us wanted to be here. We're here because of another firearm tragedy in Minnesota. It's been a tough summer.
Democratic State Senator Ron Latz is co-chair of the Gun Violence Prevention Working Group, which is the first legislative group to address the issue since last month's Annunciation mass shooting. They will meet again on Wednesday. State Department of Public Safety officials say even though seatbelt use in Minnesota is at an all-time high of more than 95%, everyone needs to buckle up no matter what. Same goes for making sure babies and young kids are properly secured in car seats. Minnesota State Patrol Colonel Kristina Bogievich says that means doing it right every time, even if you're in a hurry.
Maybe you're running late to school or daycare drop-off and you think my kid is strapped in good enough. Or it's just a quick trip and you tell yourself we're only going a few blocks. I'll be fine if I don't buckle up. But here's the thing, crashes don't wait for the right time or the right place.
Extra seatbelt and car seat enforcement is planned on Minnesota roadways next week. Adding insult to injury, literally, after last night's Vikings loss to Atlanta, quarterback J.J. McCarthy is out for at least the next week with a high ankle sprain. Head coach Kevin O'Connell.
Give him a ton of credit, just the toughness to get that thing taped up and keep playing. But yeah, that is something that we were able to determine today. So obviously tough news.
ESPN is reporting McCarthy may be sidelined for 2 to 4 weeks. Backup quarterback Carson Wentz will start on Sunday when the Vikings host Cincinnati at US Bank Stadium. WCCO News Time is 5:06.
Time to find out how it's moving on the roads. and what's moving in via the skies. This is traffic and weather together on CCO, starting with a check of the commute.
Crash 494 westbound area 35W. It looks like it may have just cleared out of the way, so all lanes are opened up, but it is still jammed up as you come away from Portland Avenue. If you're going to be traveling west 494, that's a slow ride across the Minnesota River Bridge with a backup that extends toward Pilot Knob Road. 10 westbound jammed up, Egret up to Round Lake Boulevard, and South 169, some slowing. Make way between 494 and 101. Jerry Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCO.
No one knows Twin Cities businesses like locals. With decades of experience here in the Twin Cities, Robert Half connects skilled professionals in finance, technology, admin, and more. Visit roberthalf.com/Twin Cities.
Now, the latest conditions and the outlook for the next few days with your CCO forecast.
Brought to you by Robert Half. Here's WCCO TV Chief Meteorologist Chris Schaefer.
It stays warm and humid the next couple of days. Clouds clearing out overnight tonight. 68 will be the low. Plenty of sunshine tomorrow. This will be the hot one with a high of 89. A muggy day. Still a little humid on Wednesday. Will be cooler, though, because showers will be moving in by the afternoon. Wednesday's high around 85.
Partly cloudy right now, 81 at News Talk 830 WCCO.
The Swiss Army knife of Minnesota media. One tool for everything news, weather, traffic, sports, politics, hope, and talk. News Talk 830 WCCO. He knows news. He knows talk. He knows nonsense, too. So get ready for a lot of each. This is Drive Time with DeRusha. Once again, here's Jason DeRusha.
A lot of text responding to me actually finishing the story at the end of our last hour. It's something new I'm going to try out on the show. My wife would like it if I would do that at home. Just know that what I'm doing here is not some sort of performative meandering. This is pretty much the bit. Often Alyssa will be prompting me you can finish that story. It doesn't need to be. That's easy for her to say, right? Like, she spends all day as some sort of corporate spreadsheet monkey, just moving numbers around, this and that. I don't know. I assume when the banks had that collapse a couple of years ago, she orchestrated that from our basement. I don't know exactly what she's doing. What I'm doing is turning a 3-minute story into a 15-minute story. And you may say that the custom license plate that I should get would say digress or tangent or GTNTHAR, which, of course, if you say out loud, is getting there. We're getting there. We're getting to the point. I just view it as part of the color of what I bring to the table. A lot of people are saying it's a gift. A lot of people are telling me that. Now, a texter said, by the way, the meandering was about a credit card fee at the car dealership. And someone says I could avoid the 3% credit card fee by paying with a check, like old guys do. Another texter said the funeral home wanted to charge me 3.95% to use a card. If your funeral home is trying to charge you a credit card fee, you do have permission to say, come on, man, you're killing me. You're allowed to say that in that very limited circumstance when you're allowed to say that at the funeral home. But in that circumstance, I give you permission.
The headlines you might have missed without missing a beat. This is your fast pass through the biggest and most impactful stories of the day. Welcome to the DeRusha Hour headlines, starting with the lead.
I do want to start briefly with underscoring the news that Laura shared in her news update, and that is that J.J. McCarthy, the Vikings rookie quarterback, offensive player of the week, in week one. Looked about as skilled as Chad Hartman in week two. He was hurt. He has a sprained high
ankle sprain. Yes.
I'm just a 5'10" guy. I have one ankle department.
Yeah.
I don't have a low.
There's no high for you.
There's no high low. Michael Rand for the Minnesota Star Tribune introduced a term called soft benching. And he wondered if this might be soft benching, that to a certain degree, like, not that this is made up, and I'll ask Dave Schwartz his thoughts about this in 20 minutes. Could he play through it? He did play through it last week. Do you want a rookie quarterback who probably has shaky confidence already after an offensive line onslaught this weekend? Do they want the rookie quarterback to just like, hey, let's make sure. Let's not risk your confidence. I don't know that we're worried about like, oh, this strain or sprain is going to turn into a break, but you worry maybe more about the mental aspect, a soft benching.
I understand the thought. It seems like an awfully quick trigger, if that's the idea. And there were so many more elements of the Vikings offense last night that were a complete mess that to put it all on JJ seems a little
For
odd
sure
to me. The Vikings didn't put any timeline on the injury at all. Adam Schefter reporting that it could be a 2 to 4 week absence. So we'll see. We'll know more probably later this week.
All right. Next up in the lead, an inspiring leader in a divisive time. The governor of Utah, I think, has been incredible, showing leadership, compassion, empathy, understanding, urging patience, urging love. Spencer Cox was on ABC's This Week, and he phrased and framed this issue in a way that I think is worth your time. Here is the governor of Utah discussing just the absolute intensity of the reaction, the immediate need for people to blame liberals, for people to blame MAGA, for people to blame someone, and the challenge that we all face in a time where politically motivated violent attacks, which we have experienced firsthand here in Minnesota, are on this precipice of becoming a more regular way of life.
And so every one of us has to make a decision. Are we going to hate our neighbor? Are we going to hate the other side? Are we going to return violence with violence? Or are we going to find a different path? Are we going to get out of those social media, those dark places of the internet where the conflict entrepreneurs reside, who are preying upon us, these companies with trillion-dollar market caps, who are using dopamine, just like fentanyl, to addict us to their product and lead us, again, those algorithms that lead us to. Can we put that aside?
Fight some crime?
Yeah.
Okay, well, you go get them, all right?
Family member,
At
talk to a neighbor
every
you
flu
disagree
shot
with.
is where health
That's up to us,
meets
and that's
care.
the only way out of this. There is
Walgreens.
nothing else we can do.
I'm joined now by Utah
I
Governor
just
Spencer
thought
Cox,
some of the
who has received
phrasing
widespread
there
praise for his
was
response to the
really
shooting this week.
interesting.
Governor, it has
The
been a
idea
horrific
that
week.
there
We
are
thank you
people
for your
out
time.
there
I
who
know you heard that
are
report by Matt
kind of
Gutman
peddling.
and this latest reporting in
That
the New York
is-
Times that some of the suspects' acquaintances
I
were
think it's
allegedly talking to him
we're in
online
a
and
fraught
joking
time
and
for
thought
sure.
they recognized him from
And
those early
that
photos.
is- that's
Can you
the
tell us
question that
anything
we
about
all-
that
we
this
all
morning or
think.
anything further on
You
the
know, how are we going to
investigation?
deal with it? How are we going
Well,
to
all we
analyze
can confirm is that
the
those
choices going
conversations
forward?
definitely were happening, and
How do we
they,
deal with
they
people
did
who
not
disagree?
believe it was actually him. It was
I
all
saw
joking
a
until
candidate for,
he until he admitted
U.S.
that it
representative
actually
in
was him.
Lakeville.
And
Matt Little,
anything new on the
posted on
investigation?
social
You say
media
he admitted that.
he's setting up a
confessed?
breakfast
No,
with-
not
and
again. He
inviting
is
people who
not
disagree with
confessed
him to come and have breakfast.
to authorities. He is
And obviously
he is
he's running
he is
for
not
office, and
cooperating.
there's a little bit of,
But all
you
the
know,
people around him were
this is what people
cooperating,
do
and
when they're
I
running
think
for office.
that's very.
I wonder if
important.
there's a way to
There
model
were
that,
reports
model that
yesterday
type of behavior,
that
right? Where we
confirmed
try to do
that,
this on this
that
show.
his roommate was.
This show is a place where you can hear and converse with people who disagree with you. And we try to do it in a way that's respectful and gets you to think about issues and not fixate on people and the personalities and whatever issues you might have there. As much of the online right seems to be intent on getting retribution from people who respond in an inelegant or offensive or disgusting way to the murder of someone else. There is another way. And Governor Spencer Cox, I think, is showing us that way. One more topic, as here in Minnesota, there's a competition going on right now for the coolest thing made in our state. And today, there are finalists. The top 16 just announced. The Minnesota Chamber of Commerce is running this competition. Elizabeth Sherry, Director of Development and Strategic Partnerships for the Minnesota Chamber of Commerce, is with us right now because we're down to 16 really interesting manufacturers, Elizabeth.
We're excited at the Minnesota Chamber to have this contest to be able to spotlight manufacturing in our state. I think a lot of times we forget what is still made here in the United States, but also what's made down the street from you, and you might not know it. So we have so many great products. Our top 16 show a little sampling of what the dynamic landscape of manufacturing looks like for Minnesota.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, some of these things are more consumer focused. So people know Spam, the classic Spam from Hormel. I think people know the cabin blanket from Faribault Mill. But some of these other things are really interesting, innovative, maybe behind the scenes type products that are really significant to our economy too, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. There's a company that's called M&E, and they create the footing for the NASA rocket that shoots, so it's such a weird component to something that changes, I think, how we envision Minnesota, thinking it's so small, but it's like we are responsible for creating some of these great large scale pieces used on a, what's beyond global, a universal level.
Right. Yeah, you think about that, you're like, all right, this is the ME Elemental NASA crawler transporter track shoe. Now, how do you pick that versus the Cirrus SRG7 Plus aircraft? It's pretty tough.
It is. And that was through the random sort of this bracket. And that's where the public, we just need your help. And so going to coolestthingademn.com to vote and just to look at it. And folks are doing different type of rationale behind voting, whether it's something that's a product they believe in or they use, or something that they feel is state of the art or innovative. It is whatever they think is that criteria of what's cool and made in Minnesota.
This is an important part of our state. These are jobs that are important.
325,000 Minnesotans have jobs in the manufacturing sector, and manufacturing is the single largest sector, private sector, of our GDP. So manufacturing is so important to our state.
I love that people have to choose between a sauna versus from Northup Saunas, which is right here in Minneapolis. And the other option is like a waste-derived biocarbon that looks like charcoal, which is, how do we compare? I don't know, but both pretty cool things going on in the state.
Oh, yeah. I think it was a harder head-to-head last week when the sauna was against Lake House Candle Company. And so I feel like it's a very similar target market. The person that would have loved the candle, loves the sauna. And so I can only imagine how that choosing went for some folks.
All right. Pretty fun. We'll get down to a grand prize winner of the coolest thing made in Minnesota. And so people get to go. And where should they go to vote again?
They should go to coolestthingademn.com to place their vote. Anyone can vote from anywhere. They just need to have a valid email address to make sure that those robots don't tamper with our contest.
All right. Pretty fun. Elizabeth Sherry with the Minnesota Chamber of Commerce. We appreciate your time, and I love the contest, and I'm voting as we speak.
Oh, thank you, Jason. I appreciate your time.
Very good.
And your support.
There it is.
Excellent.
All right. Good. Very good. Elizabeth Sherry with the Minnesota Chamber of Commerce. That is the DeRusha Hour news headlines. The lead, page 2, coming your way in just a minute. How much money did Falcon Heights make? Remember the first time they charged for parking at the state fair? Is downtown Minneapolis really back to 75% of worker traffic? And divorce myths. Divorce myths. We'll talk about that when we come back.
You're listening to Drive Time with DeRusha. Video streaming live on YouTube and always on your radio at News Talk 830 WCCO.
All right, Jason here for Livia Weight Control Centers. It is a new season. It is a new mindset. It's time to kickstart things with Livia. And let's get some quick results, right? That is part of the fun of Livia, that when you join today, you join their award-winning nutrition programs, or you join their GLP-1 medical weight loss starting at $99 for semaglutide, $199 for tirzepatide. You get results fast. And that motivates you to keep at it. For me, when I joined Livia, I lost 10 pounds in my first 2 weeks. And then I just kept cooking. Saved 45 pounds. Gone. Not saved. Lost 45 pounds by the time I was done. Livia is all over the GLP-1 medical weight loss program. Right now, they're doing microdosing too, which is something you may have heard of. Reach out to learn more. If you're a new client, there's a code to save $100. 100 ready. 100 READY is your code as a new client. Now, a lot of my friends joined Livia over the years, and maybe time gets away from you, or lifestyle choices change, or you want to experiment with the GLP-1s. Let's go. You can reactivate for free and get a $40 credit. What is the Livia difference? It's award-winning care. It's real experts. It's real accountability and real results. And the local centers are virtually. Livia is delivering the results that you deserve. So make the call. 855-GO-LIVIA or visit the website. It's livia.com.
Anytime is tune-up time at Apollo Heating, Air, and Plumbing. For only $59, get your AC ready for the summer heat. Just visit us at callapollo.com. That's callapollo.com.
Let me tell you about this new pretzel cheddar club. Hey, I'm Carlos.
And I'm Ebony. And a little thing we love about the Chick-fil-A Pretzel Cheddar Club
is the tangy Dijon with the pretzel bun. It takes it to a whole nother level.
It goes perfectly with the chicken and the cheddar cheese and the bacon.
Man, you know how much you love bacon. And I love the different varieties. Grilled, spicy, original. It gets you nice and excited for fall.
Order the Pretzel Cheddar Club with Cherry Berry and Sprite for a limited time on the Chick-fil-A app. Real guests paid for their testimonials.
There's nothing like when you get that part from eBay and it just fits. Yeah, the first time. So you can do less of this and get right back to more of this. At eBay, you'll find all the parts you need, guaranteed to fit, at prices you'll love. Sounds good, doesn't it? eBay, things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Financial advice should be holistic and tailored to your life. I'm Ryan Antkowiak, financial advisor with Baird Private Wealth Management and the president of the Financial Planning Association of Minnesota. At Baird, we provide investment and financial planning advice for all areas of your life: family, retirement, estate planning, and charitable giving. Plus, we coordinate with your tax and legal advisors to ensure you have one comprehensive financial plan that makes sense for you. Discover the Baird difference. Visit BairdTwinCities.com.
You hear that? That's the sound of your business losing money. Legacy phone systems weren't built for today's teams. OpenPhone gives your business a smarter way to stay connected. OpenPhone lets you manage calls, texts, voicemail, and contacts all in one place so that you and your team can deliver a seamless customer experience from ring to... Need to take calls on the go? OpenPhone automatically transcribes, summarizes, and highlights next steps from every call, so you never miss a detail. Need insight into what closes a sale? With OpenPhone's AI call tags, you can instantly spot key topics like objections or pricing questions, and use those insights to coach your team and level up every customer interaction. And yes, you can bring your existing number with you for free. Keep your team in sync and your customers happy with OpenPhone. OpenPhone. No missed calls, no missed customers. Try OpenPhone for free at openphone.com/try and get 20% off your first 6 months. That's openphone.com/try. openphone.com/TRY.
You're listening to Drive Time with DeRusha. Video streaming live on YouTube and always, and I mean always, on your radio at News Talk 830 WCCO.
Rush Hour News Headlines, page 2. We begin with a question I was wondering about when there was all the hubbub about Falcon Heights. For years, it was free to park. And Falcon Heights said, like, you know what? Enough. There's too much, like too many cars in our neighborhoods. Let's charge for parking. So they charge $25 for parking. How much money can you make from parking at the Minnesota State? Not much money. Not that good. It's all right. They're like, it's all right. Minnesota Star Tribune reporting on this today. Falcon Heights had projected to make between $100,000 and $200,000 during the 12 days of the fair. And proving the projection abilities of Falcon Heights are similar to my 17-year-old's ability to estimate his own height. They perhaps were rounding up from $49,000, which is, that's not 6 feet. It's not, it's just not. $49,000 was the profit, according to a city analysis that'll be presented at a city council meeting this week. They're still saying it's a success. Yeah, $49,000 profit is $49,000 more than zero. So, yeah, it's a success. The city charged $25 to park on streets and neighborhoods close to the fairgrounds. If you live there, you got a pass, so you can park for free. They got 3,650 people to pay online. So that brought in $89,000, but you got to pay Parkmobile, the vendor, to run the program. There were 112 signs. They had ambassadors. So I assume people dressed up in Falcon Heights costumes or maybe dressed like meters, a little dancing around in the street.
Spinning the sign?
Oh, man, I love a good sign spin. No doubt about it. They did say they reduced traffic compared to previous years. So that was good. That was the main goal. I bet if you lived in that neighborhood, you're like, love it. Love it. They issued 488 tickets. We don't know how many of those were unpaid parking, but they did issue a bunch of tickets. So they'll make a little more money in that. Is downtown Minneapolis really back to 75% of worker traffic? Oh, the hustle and bustle. Were you part of the excitement last week? So many red shirts. All the Target people here have their... Do you know who performed? They always have some big star performing at some big... No, you don't know. If you were there, text in. I am always jealous. I look at it. You know what I don't like? Like if we had to go to some big like Team Odyssey rah-rah meeting, you know? Like you load into the Philadelphia Convention Center where our corporate headquarters are. But I look at the Target thing every year. I'm like, man, this looks like fun. They bring in big stars and have motivation. I like a good motivational speech. Cook, you love attending a good corporate function, don't you?
Oh, you have no idea.
So MinPost does this article about, returning workers had some bustle. We had a little bustle in downtown Minneapolis. But there's a line in this story that said in-person work is almost back to 75% of pre-pandemic numbers, according to Kitty Fahey, the Senior Director of Advancement for the Minneapolis Downtown Council. That's expected to return as the increase, as the numbers from Target's return to work policy come in. And hearing that, I just can't help but think, come on now, Kitty Fahey, are you kidding me? Like, are you kidding me? Do we think we're at 75%?
I bet it's pretty close to that.
Like in terms of people or in terms of like visits. So I would buy we're at 75% of people.
Yeah.
But back in the day, you had 100% of people coming to work 5 days a week.
Right.
So let's say there are 10 people. So that's 50 visits, right?
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
My concern is that instead of 10 people, now we have 8 people, and those 8 people come 3
days a week.
So we're down from 50 to 24. But maybe they're counting visits, and maybe it is busier. Now, the other question that this article raises, which I thought was very astute, is the question about return to work. Is that confined to workday hours? So for downtown, for it to matter, for return to office to matter, people do have to stick around after they clock out. And the downtown residents have to leave their apartments. That's just the reality. Now, I'm not telling anybody they have to do that, but if you do want to get back to vibrancy, that is the formula. That's the DeRusha Hour News headlines. Divorce myth. Tune in tomorrow. Or if you can't tune in tomorrow, subscribe to our podcast. Drive Time with DeRusha on all the platforms. We'd love if you'd subscribe. We'd love to have you listen. And listen on your time. We upload every segment, every hour on the Drive Time podcast that you can get on the Odyssey app. Let's break. Dave Schwartz talking sports and the breaking news about J.J. McCarthy and his injury. He is out next week. What does Dave think? We'll talk about it next.
You're listening to Drive Time with DeRusha on News Talk 830 WCCO.
I was talking to a friend about Tureen dermatology today. And I know, you're like, well, that's weird. But this friend of mine was telling me, they're like, the crazy thing about Tureen dermatology is that it is so hard to get an appointment with a dermatologist. It's almost impossible in some areas. And in fact, Tureen just opened a place in Lakeville. And Dr. Mohiba Tureen, she's my dermatologist. Mohiba is telling me, in Lakeville, before we open, the wait time to get an appointment at any of the dermatology clinics there was 5 to 6 months. Today, with Tureen Dermatology, you can request an appointment today and get it within 3 weeks. Any of their 9 offices, you're in within weeks. 3 weeks. It's awesome. Awesome. Even better, the people are incredible. I go to the Roseville office. I've been to the Eagan office. Lakeville is new. Farmington, Lindstrom. They're in Hudson. They're in Monticello. They're all over the place. They're close to you. Make that appointment. You can request it online at Tureen, Tareen, dermatology.com.
Do you have $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is letting everyone know about great debt relief options now available to help people with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of your credit card debt. Get a free debt relief consultation when you call 800-201-7676, 800-201-7676, 800-201-7676.
When you haven't found love, it can feel like everyone else has. It's in every movie, every song, and all the PDA. Looking for love sucks. Thankfully, California Psychics can give you the guidance you need to find the one. We guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. And new customers receive 20 minutes for just $20. Visit CaliforniaPsychics.com and experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
Do you have $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is letting everyone know about great debt relief options now available to help people with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of your credit card debt. Get a free debt relief consultation when you call 800-201-7676, 800-201-7676, 800-201-7676.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
I met Evan Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. We're dedicated to serving people 50 and up like me. Our needs are different. Big Wireless wants us in an unlimited plan, but if you're not using all that data, you're probably getting used. At Consumer Cellular, we're focused on affordable, reliable plans, including data that suits your needs, not ours. Our plans start at just $20, and you'll get the best customer service in the business.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com/facts. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
Time to find out how it's moving on the roads and what's moving in via the skies. This is traffic and weather together on CCO, starting with a check of the commute.
Just some slowdowns out there to be aware of. 494 westbound's one of them as you move across the Minnesota River Bridge over to Cedar Avenue. If you're going to be traveling West 94, still got your continuing slowdowns there here on Boulevard into downtown Minneapolis. 610 eastbound. That's jamming up Broadway over to Highway 252. Trey Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCO.
Hungry? Go to Dickey's Barbecue Pit of Egan for real Texas barbecue. All meats smoked fresh in-house daily. You can dine in, take out, have it delivered, or have your event catered anywhere in the metro. Just go to Dickeys.com. Dickey's Barbecue Pit of Egan, the Twin Cities catering leader.
Now, the latest conditions and the outlook for the next few days with your CCO forecast.
Forecast brought to you by Dickey's Barbecue Pit of Egan. Here is Chris Schaefer.
Clouds will clear out overnight tonight. We'll slip back to 68. It's going to be another muggy night. It stays humid tomorrow. We'll have plenty of sunshine, and this will be the warm one with a high up around 89. Partly cloudy to start on Wednesday with scattered showers moving in. A little cooler, 85 the high. And those scattered showers will be possible Thursday, Friday, possibly into Saturday. Not a washout, plenty of dry time, but a chance of rain as well.
It's going to be warm at the Twins game at Target Field tonight. 81 degrees for those Yankees on CCO.
Jason DeRusha.
I can ignore your kid crying on a plane the same way I ignored my kids crying. It is not that difficult. And if my kids are listening, they're like, yeah.
Oh, come on. Your kids don't listen.
On News Talk 830 WCCO. Now let's get a Monday rundown on the weekend in sports, where Dave brings the analysis and Jason brings the snacks.
Get your popcorn ready.
Time for some fun talking ball and other stuff with Dave Schwartz on Drive Time with DeRusha.
Vikings get stopped 22-6. J.J. McCarthy, 158 yards, 2 interceptions, no touchdowns. I was on an airplane coming back from Chicago, Dave, during this whole thing. And, well, sounds like I really missed quite a bit, right?
Well, you might argue that you didn't miss much being on the plane.
Maybe I was in luck. But then just this afternoon, we find out that J.J. McCarthy has an ankle sprain. Now, is that real?
Yeah.
Do you think that's real, or is that like we need to give him a moment to gather himself?
Well, they have to put him on the report. So, now what kind of accountability is it that
quarterback name. Are you ready?
Thank you. Yeah.
Saga Polutele, except there is an N, which is not silent, which you don't see here.
Nice carrot there.
Thank you.
That's that Cal
That's
education.
a Cal education right there.
So, yes. So the way to pronounce it, these Polynesian
Here we
names,
go.
just like Tua
Okay.
Tagovailoa, you kind of slide the N in there. So it almost is
It's Jaron.
like Sangha, like it's like you're singing a song.
Sangha.
So, and the one thing,
Polutele.
people get intimidated when they see all these
Jaron
words. In Hawaiian
Kiwi.
pronunciations, you pronounce every vowel. Every vowel. So just
Sangha.
break it up. Sangha, Polu, Tele. Put it all together. Jaron, Keave, Sangha,
This is
Polu,
great
Tele.
radio.
There it is. Now we know. Will we ever need this information ever again in our life? Maybe in 2
Well,
years.
according
2 years.
to the announcers, he's going to be the next greatest quarterback from Hawaii coming out. So, I think maybe the announcers get a little bit excited with some of that stuff. But,
I mean, it's a great name. It's a great name.
It is.
I mean, Dave Schwartz. Wah, wah.
Yeah.
I mean, where's the fun there? Where's the fun there? No.
There's very little, to be honest with you, Jason. Very little fun.
This was fun, Dave. Thank you.
Always a pleasure. I enjoyed it immensely.
Hard to believe you're doing it for free, to be honest. Thanks, Dave.
This is Drive Time with DeRusha on News Talk 830 WCCO.
Fall weather is pro turf season. It's Jason here for my friends at Professional Turf. And boy, oh boy, is this a great time to reach out at professionalturf.com, because the team at Pro Turf is all about taking care of your landscape needs, and fall is the best time of the year. Now I know you're looking at the weather, you're like, what the heck? It feels like summer. No doubt. I bet you're going to be spending more time outside. Look at your yard and tell me honestly, have you put the money into it that you want to? Have you created the oasis that you deserve? Pro Turf can help you get there. The cool fall weather, when it shows up, is ideal for root development for all plants. New trees, new shrubs, new perennials, all of it is in play. They will survive our winters, no problem. And fall is a great time to beat the spring rush, too, because Pro Turf's providing you with a professionally designed digital image of your new landscape design before they start. Professional designs by certified providers provided at no additional cost. So we're talking about rock replacements, foundation plants. You can yank out some old plants, put in some new stuff, or maybe you want that driveway of your dream or the retaining wall or pergola. Pro Turf can hook you up. Free state fair special as well with a free tree thrown in. Call them for more information at 952-469-8680 or fill out the green free estimate request at professionalturf.com.
You know that feeling when you're about to cut into a juicy steak and hope it tastes as perfect as it looks? Well, worry no more. The Chef IQ Sense is a wireless cooking thermometer that eliminates under or overcooking your chicken, fish, or meat, whether on the stovetop, oven, or grill. The probe is inserted into your food and connected wirelessly to an app. Once you select your desired doneness, the app alerts you when to take the steaks off the grill or the turkey out of the oven. It's that simple. Order one now on chefiq.com. That's chefiq.com.
Just added to Farm Aid 40, Kenny Chesney, plus Winona Judd and Steve Earle. Saturday, September 20th, Huntington Bank Stadium in Minneapolis. Also featuring Willie Nelson and family, Neil Young and the Chrome Hearts, Sean Mellencamp, Dave Matthews and Tim Reynolds, Margot Price, Billy Strings, Nathaniel Rateliff and the Night Sweats, Trampled by Turtles, and more. Farm Aid 40, a full day of music, homegrown food, and activities. On sale now at farmaid40.org and 1-800-YOU-GOPHER.
At Advent, nasal congestion and sinus infections can be solved with an in-office 20-minute procedure. Elsewhere, expect surgery.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Kris Lindahl, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was,
I wanted to ask Kris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today. See representative for warranty details. Promotion is 20% off plus a 10% senior or military discount. One discount per household.
Hey there, cats and kittens. It's Brian from The Commercial Break, the mediocre comedy podcast where my best friend Chrissy and I attempt to make sense of the world. We talk about the absurd, the ridiculous, and the stuff no one asked for, like internet weirdos, pickup artists, and why everyone is obsessed with crystals and colonics. It's all got to stop. The show is free, it's frequent, and it's probably not for everyone. You can go to tcbpodcast.com, subscribe at youtube.com/The Commercial Break, or check out the show wherever you listen to podcasts. We'll see you on the next Commercial Break. And best to you.
Time to find out how it's moving on the roads and what's moving in via the skies. This is traffic and weather together on CCO, starting with a check of the commute.
Things are slow into downtown Minneapolis for eastbound 394 as you make way past 100. East 494 still a bit sluggish this afternoon as you come in from East Bush Lake Road to 35W. The crosstown eastbound runs slow as well, Tracy Avenue to Penn Avenue. Jerry Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCO.
Mnexspike COVID-19 vaccine mRNA by Moderna has arrived. To learn more and find it near you, visit mnexspike.com. That's mnexspike.com.
Now, the latest conditions and the outlook for the next few days with your CCO forecast.
Tonight, the low is 68. Tomorrow, almost 90 degrees.
You're listening to Drive Time with DeRusha.
Brutal. It was giving me headaches and making me nauseous. I don't know if I'm getting used to it, but thankfully it didn't bother me as much. It wasn't as oppressive as it has been.
On News Talk 830 WCCO.
Let's take the current temp of your Minnesota Twins. Brought to you by Chef IQ Sense. Save 15% with code word WCCO at checkout now at chefiq.com.
Twins and Yankees tonight. The Yankees are 4 games out in the American League East. And bear in mind, they're 83-66. The Twins are about the opposite of that, 65-84. But it's always fun when the Yankees are in town.
There's some buzz.
I would say also it's hot, so the temp is hot. Why not?
Why not?
Why not? Pregame coming up next. We'll see you tomorrow.
Planning on selling your home soon, you need to be in the know on the changes to the real estate market and our economy so that you can sell it for the most